there. However, some people are thinking that this might have to do with that arrest earlier today with the DC pipe bomb suspect. That is not confirmed. That is what people are thinking this could be. Again, eventually we should hear from the Attorney General Pam Bondi and get some more information about that. Some other things that are on the feeds right now that I can take you around to. This is the CDC providing some vaccine advisory updates, providing the latest as, of course, we enter, flu season, COVID season, just giving you the latest information on the different shots that are available here in the U.S. Another thing that just popped up that I want to take us to, Hakeem Jeffries is providing some remarks as well right now. So actually, let's listen in here just for a minute or two to Hakeem, and then we're going to get to some pretty big breaking news as far as Milwaukee Bucks and their superstar player. But for now, let's listen in to Hakeem.
As a result of Republicans enacting the largest cut to Medicaid in American history, electricity bills are skyrocketing because of the Republican attack on the clean energy economy. Clean energy is cheaper energy. But they gutted those provisions of the tax code. Republicans did so they could reward big oil and their donors. But as a result, the American people are seeing their electricity bills skyrocket. And then, of course, if you rip $186 billion from SNAP, which Republicans did in their one big ugly bill, they're going to cause everyday Americans to go hungry. We're talking about 42 million people. 16 million children who are going to be hurt by what Republicans did in their one big ugly bill. 8 million older Americans and over 1 million veterans who rely on SNAP. And so the adverse impact, the harm that Republicans have done to the American people, actually, we're just scratching the surface in terms of the hurt that everyday Americans will experience. And then we have the ongoing Trump tariffs, which of course in real time are increasing costs on the American people by thousands of dollars per year. And the American people know it in terms of what they're paying now for groceries and for goods. The American people are concerned about the fact that housing is totally out of control, healthcare is totally out of control, childcare is totally out of control, and Republicans have no plan to deal with any of it.
All right, if you are just joining us, we've been listening in here to House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries giving some remarks to media, talking about the cost of living kind of crisis in the United States right now. A lot of Americans really struggling to make ends meet. So he's just providing kind of his thoughts on the latest there. Of course, we'll keep our eye on the feed, see if we can find any Republicans if they speak out, so we can bring you both sides on that issue. I do want to take us outside live right now in Milwaukee to a look at the Fiserv Forum, because we do have a little bit of basketball breaking news. Unfortunately, that has to do with Giannis Antetokounmpo. He went out of the game yesterday hurt due to a calf strain. ESPN now reporting that he's expected to be out approximately 2 to 4 weeks due to that injury. Of course, not the news that you want to hear when you're talking about your star player. He will certainly leave a lot of fans disappointed with that news, and I think there will be an impact to the court. But speaking of the Bucks, it's kind of been a big headline lately, the Bucks and Giannis and his future here in Milwaukee. It's been a conversation, I would argue, since he became a Buck years ago, but recently there seems to be more kind of emphasis put on these rumors. So I want to go ahead and bring in our very own Sam Kramer, who's joining us in the newsroom. You were at Fiserv yesterday, Sam. I know you talked to fans about their thoughts on this. But for starters, what are the rumors out there? Why are people kind of nervous we might be losing Giannis?
Yeah, hi there. Good to be with you on the Wisconsin Live Desk today, Haley. It's a loaded question. I don't know if you realize that, but look, he being Giannis Antetokounmpo is such a pillar here for the Bucks. This team, they do not win an NBA title without him. You could make the argument Fiserv Forum in the Deer District isn't built without him, without trying to just kind of show the value of this franchise and lobbying for public dollars to build that public arena, at least partially publicly funded arena, and everything around it that has come ever since then. Fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, he's an athlete, he's a competitor, he wants to be a winner. and that is often what you see out of people that make their way into professional sports. And if you just look at the way that the Bucks have played this season, it makes sense that this conversation is rearing its head now, that they've struggled. Part of the reason for that is that he was out for about a week or so with a left adductor strain. So now that you add in this right calf strain, directionally it doesn't really matter. It's just not good either which way, right? So it was an awkward day, I guess I would describe it, talking with fans at Fiserv Forum last night. That being said, they left feeling quite happy that even though he was out, injured in that game, that they still found a way to come back and beat the Detroit Pistons, who were the best team in the East. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of questions about his future here, and talking with some people that work for the Bucks, like, they're used to these conversations. They're used to this noise. They just don't feel that it holds any weight right now. But certainly, if you're just an outsider looking in, you have to question how much longer he's going to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Not the news I think any Milwaukee Bucks fan wants to be talking about. I think one thing that I found interesting, Sam, when I was scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm the key demographic for Bucks content. I was even seeing people freak out that Giannis appeared to delete all sort of Bucks kind of photos off of his Instagram grid. Did you talk to fans about that? Are they nervous that he seems to be erasing Milwaukee from his Instagram?
I did. And here's the thing. If we go back in history, he's done this a couple of times before. But looking at history, he is still here. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I'm not of that mindset of, okay, I can't be on social media because I have to lock in on my job. Of course, we don't have that luxury, right? But that is at least the feeling around the Bucks, people that work for the Bucks, is that, look, he's just locking in. It's just what he does. Sometimes this is what athletes do, is they feel like they have to eliminate distractions. They hone in on the task at hand, which is practice, which is relationships with their coaches and teammates, ultimately playing and hopefully winning games. Now, you talk to Bucks fans who were at the game last night, it's a very different feeling. There is a lot of concern. Why would he be scrubbing all these connections to Milwaukee? He left up, I believe, the NBA Cup title as well as the NBA title that they did win in 21. So it just doesn't leave a good feeling for fans that are coming to this game, a lot of them wearing number 34 jerseys. Oh, by the way, yesterday happened to be Greek night. Yeah. And so hundreds of fans purchased tickets that came with the Giannis Antetokounmpo bobblehead, as well as the opportunity to meet him and his brother, Thanasis Antetokounmpo, after the game. So we are setting up for our live shot at 9 o'clock up on the concourse, and we see, and frankly, there were a lot of people in the arena wearing Greek Giannis jerseys. And the photographer was working with Jake Salzman, and I just kind of both thought, okay, maybe they're just trying to pledge their support, unaware that it was Greek night. But right around the third, fourth quarter is when those fans are supposed to line up for it to be taken down and a chance to meet him. Those fans were told by staff, that's not happening. He had left because of that calf injury to go get an MRI right away. And though he is going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, two interesting parts. One, I think that's probably better than the initial fears last night. The initial fears, and of course, anytime an athlete gets hurt, there are a million more doctors that are born on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, what have you, that say, oh, did you see this replay? It looked like this, looked like that. There's certainly concerns about the Achilles, and that would be a long-term injury. But this only being 2 to 4 weeks is probably okay. A, but B, it kind of quiets that conversation about his immediate future. And that was the report at ESPN saying that Giannis and his agent, Alex Saratzis, wanted to have conversations with the Bucks just about monitoring his situation, about his immediate future, which certainly, if you're looking between the lines, looks like maybe he wants a trade. Mm-hmm. It's not what he said verbatim. He didn't say that at the beginning of the season. So it looked like they've had conversations, but never to the fact that he's admitted to requesting a trade. And I think it comes down to just how much he's kind of woven himself into the fabric of this community. You don't have murals downtown if you aren't viewed as one of us, per se. And so, look, he has brought so many memories on the court. He and his wife, now Mariah, have brought so much, so many resources. They've been involved with Milwaukee Diaper Mission, his foundation. Look, they have a clothing store down in the Deer District. So they've they've brought a lot to this community beyond slam dunks, three-pointers, and an NBA title.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked there a little about that ESPN report that came down yesterday during the Wisconsin Live Desk that I think reignited the fears after people saw the Instagram being scrubbed. That's all kind of rumor mill. But we did hear from the source as far as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach Doc Rivers yesterday about these trade rumors about Giannis. What did he have to say? Yeah,
he pretty much just had the ice and just doused the flame right there. He's saying that, look, there have been no conversations. And he viewed it more so as a byproduct of just the team's recent performance, and that they have struggled. They lost earlier this week to the Washington Wizards, an old friend Chris Middleton, by 3 points. And up to that point, the Wizards had only had 2 wins. So it's certainly frustrating. It's not indicative of the Milwaukee Bucks that we've known, seen, and the city has adored for the last 5 to 6 to 7 years. Frankly, ever since Antetokounmpo showed himself to be a budding superstar in the first couple of years of his career. So yeah, head coach Doc Rivers, you could kind of sense some frustration in that he's having to talk about this again. They talked about it when the Knicks were in town, and Giannis, who had an amazing game that day, was seen on replay saying, this is my city, as if to declare that he's here. But since then, the team has just really struggled, and I think it's just a cyclical conversation that happens in sports leagues about struggling teams. Well, what's the best decision for the future of that franchise? Is it to offload your players with expensive contracts, albeit one of the best players in the league, so that they can receive value back in that this season isn't going to go anywhere? Or do you hold on to him? Do you just kind of wait things out, or just kind of flush the season to the side, so to speak? So Doc Rivers is saying, no, look, we're all in. We've been dealing with injuries, and that's obviously going to hurt us in more ways than one. So he reiterated, no, there haven't been any conversations. And actually, after the game, Bobby Portis, another fan favorite, told some of the beat reporters, too, that they had a team meeting yesterday morning and just realizing the situation, realizing that there was going to be a lot more noise. It was perhaps going to be a different day at Fiserv Forum, and that they just felt that they had to win. And again, despite losing Giannis early in the first quarter, they made that happen.
Yeah, absolutely, which is a highlight from yesterday. And also,
Yes.
I think it's good news from Doc that hopefully ease some tension, calm some fears. Obviously, a big story, Sam, so we appreciate you coming on the Wisconsin Live Desk and breaking that all down for us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Our very own Sam Kramer spent some time yesterday at Fiserv talking to the fans. Again, a little bit nervous, but I think hopefully it all works out. We'll definitely continue to follow this story and keep you guys updated. Hey, we're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back in just a few minutes as we talk FOX6 Coats for Kids Drive. Just got a few days left, so get those donations in. We're chatting with the Salvation Army next.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Thursday afternoon. It is 12:48. I'm Haley Spittler. I'll be with you all the way till 2:30. And then Mary Stoker-Smith, she'll take over and get you guys to 3:30 today. Want to take a quick look outside here, Mitchell International Airport, where you can see all that snow on the ground. And if you were to step outside, it is a chilly one. Just 16 degrees here in Milwaukee. And of course, it's just the beginning of that bitter cold, that winters that we see here in southeastern Wisconsin, which really reminds us how important it is to have our warm winter gear. And that is why here at Fox 6, we've been in our 41st year of the Fox 6 Coats for Kids drive. We only, though, have a few days left. We've already seen such generosity from our community, and we want to just give you a few more days to get those coats in, get those donations in. We're actually joined right now with Major Beverly Gates of the Salvation Army, who we partner with for this drive. Thanks so much for joining us today on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. It's crazy to think that we're winding down. It feels like we just kicked off this year, but how has it gone so far?
You know, the last month, our community has been very generous in their donations of coats and in their donations of money in order for us to purchase coats. And as the need is so great, we are grateful for the way the community has supported this program.
Oh, absolutely. And you just mentioned it. The need is so great. I feel like this year especially, there's been an increase in the need for these coats. Can you speak to that a little bit?
There has been an increase. As we have already been distributing coats, our last count we've already distributed 4,700 coats to those in our community so that they are able to be warm during the season and to be able to be comfortable in our Wisconsin weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's hard to be comfortable in our Wisconsin weather. You really need to bundle up, which is also why I know it's not just coats. It's also those winter accessories people can donate, brand new kind of mittens and scarves and hats. And tell me a little bit about how the distribution events go, because I think it's so cool that the kids get to play a hand in picking out what they'll wear.
Absolutely, absolutely. The kids come in, the family, parents bring their children in, and we have our coats set up on racks. It's kind of like a store, and the kids can come in and actually pick out the coat that they want. It's exciting to watch, and children who say, "What color coat do you want?" "I want a pink one," or "I want a green one," or whatever. And then to help them find that coat that they really enjoy and putting it on and then just making sure it fits. It's a pleasure and a joy just to watch that whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put up here our QR code just in case anybody who's watching wants to donate. Here, if you scan the QR code, that is donating monetarily, which will then go to our partnership with Operation Warm, which is how we are able to buy brand new winter coats for just $25. And we get kind of those fun colors, all those nice new designs, that there is something for each child that they want when they go to those distribution sites. And Major Beverly, I know that the studies kind of show too that when you go to school and you're warm, kids end up doing better in the classroom. Can you speak to that a little bit?
You know, it's absolutely correct. If you're not feeling well or if you're freezing, you're not going to be able to focus in on what you need to be learning or what's happening. And it also, you know, we want kids to have coats that fit them and not things that are too big or too small, so that they feel a part of just like everybody else. And that's what this allows us to do, getting a coat that fits the child in order for them to feel good about themselves. When you feel good about yourself, you're going to be able to learn better and engage more. So all the way around, the ability to get coats onto kids is a plus for our kids.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. So the last time I saw you in person was when we did our telethon here in Studio A at Fox 6. I got to say, for me, I thought it was so cool to get to hear all of those phones continue to ring, to know that our community was watching, that they heard there was a need, and that they wanted to participate in being a part of the solution. For you, what is it like to see Milwaukee just, I think, be truly such a generous community and help right now?
You know, if it wasn't for our community, we would not be able to serve the kids as we are able to serve. And along with our partners, with Steinhoffels, with Landmark, if we, without those support and without our community, kids would go without coats and without winter hats and scarves and gloves that they need for this, our winter weather here in Wisconsin.
That's right. Okay, so people can still help out too. If you have coats that you've been waiting to donate, you still have until Sunday, December 7th, to get those to Steinhoffels, to get them to Landmark Credit Union or to Salvation Army Church Distribution Center. You'll take them as well. Any kind of goals that you had for this drive, and do you think we're going to make them?
You know, we really haven't set goals other than to make sure that every child who needs a coat has been equipped with a coat.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to hopefully be able to accomplish that because it's been already such a success. And again, a few more days to get those donations in. Major Beverly, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Haley, could I just say that
Yes.
if someone still needs a coat, they can go to samilwaukee.org, and there's a button there and for coats, and they'll be able to see where we are still giving out coats to those in need.
Thank you. That is actually so important. You know, sometimes I focus too hard on one side of the drive, which is the donations. But of course, if you are in need, that's a great reminder of how you can get your hands on one of these coats that's been donated. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You as well. Always a pleasure to get to talk to Major Beverly. Hey, speaking of Milwaukee, there's actually our mayor talking right now. I want to get us in here. He is making a proclamation that December is a Christmas Carol month. So let's quickly listen on here.
On behalf of Milwaukee Rep and this wonderful company, the staff at the Pabst here, 50 years of, and the Repertory Theatre staff, we are extremely grateful and we're deeply honored today to accept this award, and very grateful, Mayor Johnson, that you came in to give this and take time today. It's deeply meaningful. Maybe there'll be another 50 years too.
Okay, that was so much fun, and they closed the curtain at the end of that performance there. We caught kind of the end of Mayor Cavalier Johnson giving that proclamation that December is now a Christmas Carol month. Of course, this is actually in honor of the 50th anniversary of Milwaukee Rep's Christmas Carol performances, which we got kind of a sneak peek there at the end. We certainly saw all the costumes, the stage, and this little rendition of Joy to the World, which makes me feel like it's Christmas time, which it actually almost is, 21 days away. That's what, 3 weeks? That's terrifying. I still got a lot of Christmas gifts to buy, so I got to get on that, Delaney. How are you doing on Christmas shopping?
Not good. I've got myself a lot of gifts, but I got to think of other people now.
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, I spent a lot during Black Friday, but then I was like, oh, it was like on like shampoos for me, on my like Anchor makeup, and then I did splurge and get myself a new suitcase, and I was like, oh, shoot, I actually need to buy my family gifts still, so.
I did the same thing.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. And I do have the list now, so I feel good about that. So here's what I'm gonna do, Delaney, and you're welcome to steal the idea. Every day, I'm just tacking off one person. So like, I'm just gonna focus on like, let me get Christine's check, you know?
That's smart.
Yeah.
I think I'll take that idea.
Well, you have less family members, so that will help you. You'll be done sooner than me.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, that was very fun to get to hear Joy to the World right there. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We have other things popping up on the feeds that I want to get to, so let's take a break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with more news.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is now 1 p.m. and I mentioned it kind of at the top of Wild today, but there was an arrest in D.C. in relation to this 5-year investigation into who put pipe bombs in D.C. the night before the January 6th riot. Now, there is a press conference going right now with the FBI to provide some answers, some more details on that arrest. We missed a lot of the beginning of this. This is the tail end as I take question and answer. So let's listen in to the list until it ends, and then I'm actually going to let you know what we've learned at the beginning of this.
Fair enough to say.
Excuse me? How long ago that was?
I'd rather not say because of the ongoing interview process, and I don't want to.
say one thing?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to add something to tell you how thorough this team was. That moment that was kind of like the aha moment, that wasn't the end. This team continued to work and work and work to get every bit of evidence that we could get. We didn't stop at that moment, and that's a testament to the fact that the team wanted every possible piece of evidence that they could gather.
One more?
One more, Kelly O'Donnell and Lisa.
Thank you so much. Have you recovered the notable sneakers? Have you done surveillance of this suspect from that aha moment to when you exercised the search warrants today? And obviously this happened on January 5th into January 6th. How should the public look at this case separate from all of the cases related to what transpired on January 6th and the president's subsequent pardons?
I'm going to let Director Patel take the evidence part. We have to be careful again. You've asked very good investigative questions, but this is ongoing, very active. But America should feel safer today. We say a pipe bomb. These are bombs. These were live, active bombs that were placed in Washington, D.C. Director.
Thank you. This shows you how much detail you and the American public have paid attention to this case. Of course, we analyzed everything that you're seeing on this poster board and information that you will see through the formal charging process and court process. But we want to let that evidence speak for itself because, again, we do not want to disrupt the accountability that we owe the American public. Yes, you heard about the cell phone tower data. Yes, you heard about, of course, we surveil individuals who we think we're going to blow up American citizens. But how and when we do it and why we do it is not something we're ever going to reveal unless the Department of Justice deems it fit at trial. So we appreciate your attention to detail and your hardcore investigative work, but you can just imagine some of those same skills were being utilized by this FBI, this Department of Justice, our partners, the ATF, and everybody across the board. And this is an interagency win for the American people.
Radar before.
Thank you all. And one more thing, this is the best birthday present I think Deputy Director Bongino could ask for today. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Okay, so we caught the end there of that FBI presser talking about the arrest made in that pipe bomb case. Again, this was January 5th, the day before the kind of January 6th riot where we saw Capitol Hill. I do want to just take us back out now to this feed where the FBI is actively searching in Virginia because this will be in connection. Pam Bondi, that's the Attorney General, in that press conference earlier said the search was already underway. They had search warrants that were being served. At the beginning of that press conference, the Attorney General did confirm that an arrest had been made and named that suspect as Brian Coles Jr. He was arrested today. Again, this is in the connection to the pipe bombs left outside the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee headquarters in D.C. back on January 5th, 2021. We also, in that press conference, learned the charges that Cole will be facing. He is charged with use of an explosive device. We also learned the investigation still underway and more charges could be filed in the future. Again, Bondi said, as we speak, search warrants are being executed. So we are going to continue to stay on top of this story. This is big news, an investigation 5 years in the making. And of course, you might have heard even Pam Bondi say it there too, that these were bombs that thankfully were able to be taken safely and they did not go off. Nobody was hurt, but the FBI has previously said this could have been lethal. So we'll keep our eye on that and bring you the latest out of the investigation. Some certainly big breaking news earlier today on Wake Up, and now we have learned that the suspect's name again is Brian. So we will, actually I don't know if that was his name, sorry. I just lost the article on the AP. I'll find it back and I'll bring it to you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. For now though, we will take a quick break as we continue to monitor the feed. Maybe we'll take another look at the mayor there as they sign that proclamation that December is now a Christmas Carol month. We did just see moments ago that the mayor was doing interviews with Mayor Cavalier, with us, excuse me, Fox 6. So make sure to stay tuned to Fox Local later on today. I'm sure we'll have some more from that fun proclamation ceremony that ended in the song of joy to the world. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I want to get us quickly out so we can catch the tail end, hopefully, of this interview that's being done right now in Milwaukee. This is a representative with the Milwaukee Rep talking about the proclamation the mayor just gave them. All right, let's listen in.
Here, and people coming to multiple years and making it a big priority, but obviously being recognized by the mayor this morning and having a proclamation that says that we will have a period of time that is a month that is dedicated to us is really important and special and very, very meaningful. And I think it was very meaningful for all of us involved. I think the mayor said that as well, that to be on stage with it snowing indoors as well as outdoors and receiving this recognition of what this company has contributed to the city over 50 years.
Where does this rank as far as accomplishments in your time here at the theater?
Well, I had the honor of adapting this particular production that we're seeing from 2016. So it's as well as 50 years, it's a bit of a landmark for me, you know, with a decade of doing that. And so it was really very moving, actually, this morning. Kind of one of definitely the top 5 experiences, and we've had a lot of them. We've been opening a new theater complex, and this was, you know, icing on the cake this morning. It was wonderful.
So, plan is in 50 years we'll all be back here to do 100?
You might be. That would be extraordinary. Unlikely, but I'm hoping that the production will be probably in several different incarnations, you know, at that time. But I think that's the thing, you know, this building, this beautiful theater, the Pabst Theater, which I adore, is one of my favorite in the country. I've directed all around the world, and this is one of my top favorite theaters. And so the idea that we would have a production of A Christmas Carol that new generations are discovering, and the incredible important message, social message, and the entertainment value of this production, the idea of that happening in 50 years from now is amazing.
Good.
Well, good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we just heard that interview right there about the Milwaukee Reps, A Christmas Carol kind of history here in Milwaukee, of course, celebrating 50 years of doing that production, which is why Mayor Cavalier Johnson, about 20 minutes ago, gave them a proclamation that December is now A Christmas Carol month here in Milwaukee. I do want to head back out to this FBI kind of investigation that's happening right now in Virginia, which again believed to be in connection to the arrest that has now been made in the pipe bomb case. Some pipe bombs were placed January 5th. The day before the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill. This was all back in 2021. I did just want to confirm what I thought, which is that the suspect in custody has been identified as Brian Cole Jr. Again, that was according to Attorney General Pam Bondi in a press conference that we kind of caught the tail end of. Again, he has been charged with the use of an explosive device. More charges are possible, as obviously this investigation is ongoing. They did say, this is Pam Bondi, that there was not necessarily a new tip or a new witness that led to this arrest. She said it was just good, diligent police work and prosecutorial work. So big story right there out of D.C. Some other things we're monitoring on the feeds in D.C. I want to take us here. This is a stakeout camera for the U.S. Senate. So potentially we might be able to hear from some senators if they decide to step up, provide any remarks, anything that's on their mind. And of course, if that happens, we'll bring it to you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Otherwise, we're going to just dip into this CDC kind of vaccine hearing that we've been talking a little bit about and see what we can learn just for a few minutes here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
So thanks for both the question and the answer. I just want to share a few observations. So I understand that there are some long-term, potential long-term consequences. I just want to kind of maybe highlight the potentially different approach that we apply to the safety versus the benefits. When it comes to the risk from the disease, if we don't see something and we cannot measure it, we are always worried. We model, we think that maybe it's more than what we think. Although, frankly speaking, I think that most of these, especially chronic illness, over 30 years, we should have seen already the impact of the universal dose, which again I don't think we see that. When it comes to safety, for some reason, only the risk from the disease can be long-term. For the risk from the vaccine cannot be long-term. And I find it a puzzle, a logical puzzle, because I think that the whole idea of vaccines is to change, hopefully positively, our immune system for the long run. But if you accept that principle, you have to also assume and consider at least that not all the changes might be positive. And so I just want to highlight the fact that, again, I think it's a good question to ask ourselves. Let's say we didn't have all of these policies in place. There would be new policy to consider. I think if we would look on the current evidence, if this was a new policy, if I listen to the recent FDA declared standard, I don't think that these vaccines would be authorized for the use. We would consider the evidence on safety, potentially efficacy, especially for the Hep B negative moms. We will consider them not passing even a minimal threshold. So respectfully, I would like to kind of to call out the fact that what we are doing here is trying to undo some really, really bad decision processes we had in the past. And we mentioned clinical trials and randomized control experiments. I actually think that in this particular case, when you think about the low risk for babies that are born to Hep B negative moms, you can actually run large clinical trials and long-term clinical trials to understand whether 1, 2, or 3 doses are sufficient, to understand different timings. This is something that there is no ethical reason whatsoever not to run those experiments. And I think that maybe we are not voting on this, but I think this should be a collective call for action for the regulatory agencies across the board to run those experiments, because we want to know the answer, because we want to be able to come to parents with far better information than what we are able to give them today. And I think that hanging into the really bad decision processes that we had in the past is not convincing to parents, or at least to many of them. And it's not convincing to the public. And I think that the recent, again, I'm going to talk about another vaccine, the recent discoveries that we had, that very confident promises about safety of vaccines turn out to not be true, to the extent that children with very, very low risk from SARS-CoV-2 were vaccinated and died. And that was denied, and I think that we really don't want to have many more cases
This was
like this.
supposed to be liaison time, respectfully. The ACIP members had their chance, and you said this was
I know you want to give
I
know you want to give another speech to tell us how good we are. But
Respectfully,
with all
you're the
due
one
respect,
giving
with all due
speeches,
respect, let me
without,
with
evidence,
with
just
all-
anecdotes.
Thank you, Dr. Goldman.
Respectfully, liaison time.
Can we, I understand that there's tensions here, but I want to respect, remember this is primarily focused on the informing the ACIP committee. So
all right, things getting a little bit heated there. Actually, some tensions. I'm going back and forth at the CDC vaccine advisory meeting, which has been going on for a little bit now. So we'll keep our eye on that feed, bring you the latest of what their kind of suggestions are as we head into certainly that cold, flu, and COVID season. So we'll, of course, keep our eye right there on that feed, let you know if we learn anything. Hey, I think we're going to talk sports, so we're going to take a quick break. And then we got some news from your Green Bay Packers. The Bears game is coming up on Sunday. But you know my favorite sport of all, baseball. We got some Brewers news for you, so you're going to want to stay tuned. All that's coming up here in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Haley Spittler with you here at 120 as it is 17 degrees outside, which is good news. I think that's actually 1 degree higher than we thought we were going to get today, so we love that. But I'll be with you here until 2:30, and then Mary Stoker-Smith is taking over, and she'll get you all the way until 3:30. Of course, it is Thursday Night football, but our eyes are all on Sunday. That is when your Green Bay Packers are going to play. So let's take a live look here at Lambeau, where it's a cold one. I was going to ask yesterday when we were joined with Tim Van Voren his tips on how to stay warm at Lambeau for any of you guys who are maybe going to the game on Sunday. I will say some tips that I've heard because I am getting ready to do the Santa Rampage cycle with, I think Santa Cycle Rampage with Delaney, and it's going to be so cold on Saturday. But the one tip that I've learned that I think would easily translate to going to an outdoor football game in December is put on a pair of gloves. Then we're going to put a heat warmer on. Then we're going to put a second glove or mitten over it to really keep that hand warmer in place, which I'm going to be doing on Saturday. Delaney, will you be also doing this?
I'll definitely be doing that.
Yeah. I might just put some heat warmers in my pockets as well so I can get that like in my body. We have to wear sneakers because we're biking, so I don't really know the way to get a heat warmer in my shoe, but if I can fit it by my toes, I might.
We'll try to make it work.
We'll try to make it work, absolutely. Which, speaking of the Green Bay Packers, let me introduce you to their newest fan, Hugh Jackman. Look at him there, looking over Milwaukee with the cheese head on. Of course, Hugh spent some time in Milwaukee this week for the premiere of his movie, well, a special screening, because it premieres December 25th, but of Song Sung Blue, which he stars in along with Kate Hudson as they portray the real-life Milwaukee couple who formed the Neil Diamond and Patsy Cline tribute band Lightning and Thunder. I will say, love him or hate him, I think it is so cool that Hugh came all the way to Milwaukee to show some love to the city that really inspired this movie via that couple. But I also love that he committed to this trip to Milwaukee. He did all the Wisconsin things. We saw him at local high schools, the performing arts type of things. We see him here with the cheese head on. You also might have seen him serving up custard at Cops. I saw him at a couple breweries, just doing all those typical Milwaukee things. Do you know where my favorite spot was, Delaney, that he went?
Where?
Yeah, you know. I know you know.
Here, Fox 6.
Of course, my favorite spot that he went when he visited Milwaukee, he only hit up the best, was Fox 6. Such a fun surprise. People loved it on my Instagram story, but I don't think that they understand that, like, we did not know that he was going to be here. Like, we were surprised.
It was such a fun surprise.
Such a fun surprise, but I told you, I was immediately, like, I looked down at what I was wearing, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I knew an A-list celebrity was coming in today, which is so funny because that was everybody in the station.
I was going to say, I think everybody had the same thought.
Like, yeah, you've pointed it out to me. Ashley Sears on her Instagram story was, like, showing, like, everyone with their makeup as soon as they learned that he was on his way. It's like, yeah, you want to look your best for Hollywood's best.
You have to.
Which, I sometimes say this, but I dress for wild if I know I'm not going to necessarily be, like, filling in for wake up, which is just, like, making sure this part of my outfit looks good. So yesterday I was wearing my UGG slippers, which is even worse. Today I'm wearing Uggs. Can you see them, Delaney? But they're at least boots. Yesterday I was wearing my slippers. It's okay, because in the photo I was positioned behind, like, the desk, so you couldn't see it.
You couldn't see the slippers. I'm sure he didn't notice the slippers.
I was about to say, do you know how many people he probably met? And it was overwhelming how many of us there were here freaking out, so he will not remember that at all. I think that we embarrassed Gino. Because Gino talks to celebrities every single day of his life. He's interviewed Hugh 11 times. Hugh really wanted to surprise Gino by coming all the way to Fox 6, and then here we are like, hi! You know, like, oh my gosh, look at my phone, hitchhikement. So he's probably like, these are not my coworkers. I don't know these people.
I know, it was such a normal day for Gino, but not for everybody else.
Not for everybody else, because how often do you see Hugh Jackman taking on the cheesehead love of Milwaukee and really Wisconsin and cheering on the Green Bay Packers, which you can do as well on Sunday. Sunday here on Fox 6 actually is where you can see that big rivalry game. We'll have the Fox NFL kickoff at 10 a.m., Fox NFL Sunday at 11 a.m., new game at noon. Earlier this week this was the Vikings game, but now it is the Bengals at Bills, which I am so excited for. I am a huge Joe Burrow fan, and let's be honest, Josh Allen. Those are two lovable quarterbacks. Sometimes it's hard for me to find their games, though, so I'm thrilled that it's here on Fox 6 at noon. That's the one I'll be tuning in for. And, of course, I will keep my TV right here on Fox 6 for 3:25 kickoff of Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. I really could see it going either way. Delaney is Team Green Bay. I am Team Chicago, which TVV yesterday Delaney said was okay.
It is okay.
Thank you, Delaney. You don't tell me that enough. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. And, of course, there'll be a special edition of Fox 6 News right after that game. And then stick around for 10:30 where you get your Fox 6 Sports Blitz, which I also think is great if you need like a recap or if you missed any of the big highlights. Tim Van Voren, the team, they got you covered right there at 10:30. But really, we got you covered here all day long on Fox 6. So that should be really exciting. But not only am I a Chicago Bears fan, but I'm also a pretty big baseball fan, Delaney. But unfortunately not for the Bears.
Yeah, you're a Cubs fan, but that's okay.
I am. That's like my actual sport. Like, I love baseball. It is very hard for me this time of year because, you know, it gets dark at 4 p.m. and I don't have baseball. So it just can be really hard for me. What am I going to fill my time with? But then you get good updates from teams. And this is going to show my love for Milwaukee, that I am just as excited for you to get an announcement from the Brewers, even though I'm not a Brewers fan.
I know, this one is an exciting announcement.
It is. The new announcement. Delaney, can you give me a drum roll? She always says no.
I can't because I have to hold the
We don't need
mic
to hear
down.
it. I'll make the sound effect for your drum roll. There we go. Thanks, Delaney. The Brewers have unveiled a new powder blue road jersey. Okay, so you can actually shop the limited run of these replica jerseys starting tomorrow, Friday, December 5th. But I think this is such a cute look. I know baseball players probably hate when I describe their uniforms as cute. But this is really cool. So the powder blue base is a direct callback to Brewers baseball in the 1970s and 1980s, symbolizing iconic moments like multiple MVP seasons and a World Series appearance. Maybe they're thinking if we put them back on, they'll make it to the World Series next year. Obviously made it just shy of it this year with the NLCS appearance. Let's talk about those Brewers yellow accents. One of the team's original colors representing Milwaukee's brewing heritage and vibrant spirit. There's also some navy blue details, of course. That is a staple to the uniform since 1994. Navy really anchors the Brewers' identity and appears as an accent on the new jersey, connecting past success with the present era. I love the intentionality behind that. Kind of can see the Milwaukee wood mark boldly displayed across the chest there. That is honoring the team's responsibility to, oh, sorry, not wood mark, it's word mark. Reading is hard sometimes. Honoring the team's responsibility to represent its city with pride on the road. And then the custom typeface is a block font inspired by Milwaukee's industrial roots, reflecting strength and tradition. I really love a baby blue. They're calling this a powder blue jersey because Delaney, the Cubs actually this year had what they called their Friday baby blues. I was going to see if you could pull it up, but I don't think I ever Instagrammed it. So we can't, maybe I'll put it on my my Twitter during a commercial break. But I thought it was the cutest jersey. They only wear it on Fridays when I think they're home. I don't know if they even wore them on the road. But of course I came here and Carrie said, well, you copied that from the Brewers. And now I would like to say, I think we did. Like, I would just like to own it as a Cubs fan, because when I saw that, the first thing I wanted to say is you're copying us. But then I was like, no, wait. I know that they've been doing those baby blue, or sorry, powder blue since the 70s and 80s. So Milwaukee, I love the look of the jersey because I think it looks very similar to what the Cubs copied just last season. So
I love that you owned
that,
but I know, I love the powder blue.
It's so, I just think it's so fashionable.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a good look. It's a good look. All right, I think we'll take a quick break so I can try and tweet that photo out so you can see my Cubs one. And then we're also eventually at some point going to get a check on the weather because it's certainly a cold one out there. So if you're heading out the door, make sure and bundle up. Feeling like January, even though it's just here December 4th. All right, we'll take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk and be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk on your Thursday afternoon here at 1:30. I should have been more prepared in the commercial break. I was trying to get you guys those photos of me on Twitter, but here we go. Here's a live look outside in Milwaukee right now. 17 degrees. So it looks pretty from here, but I'm kind of glad I'm indoors. I do not want to go outside just yet because I really feel like these temperatures have come too soon. And I bet you that our weather expert Stephanie would agree with me. Let's go ahead and bring her in. Don't you feel like it's just too early to be having 17-degree highs right now?
Yeah, this is more common for January. You know, that's usually our coldest month into early February. So yeah, definitely a little early. Same with the snow though. You know, we got that big snow this past weekend right after Thanksgiving. That's a lot of accumulation pretty early in the season. Not saying it never happens, but yeah, we've jumped into winter, I think, a little ahead of schedule as compared especially to previous years. And I think that's why this feels so amplified over the last week, everything we've dealt with between the snow and the cold, because the last, especially 2 winters, have been pretty wimpy. That being said, let's talk temperatures. Thankfully, the wind is essentially calm out there, so we actually don't have much of a wind chill. We'll take that as a win. But look at Fond du Lac. It's only 9 degrees right now in that area. Watertown only about 11. Everybody else has warmed a bit more, but we're not going to see much more of a climb in temperature. So 17 could very well go down as our high temperature for today. Now, right now, we are actually tied for the coldest high temperature of the day. So if we don't warm anymore, then we will actually tie that record low high is what we call it. So I know it's kind of confusing. Normally we talk about record high temperatures during the summer when it's 100 degrees or 80 degrees in, September or something like that. This is the opposite end. It's still potentially a record, but more so for the coldest high temperature of the day. So that's 17 for today. That was set back in 1976. So far we have tied that. If we climb a degree, then we'll kind of be out of the running for that, which is fine, I think, by everybody. These are not the records we want to hit necessarily for this time of year. But if we stay at 17, then there you go. We'll actually tie that record. Now, we've been watching the wind chill all morning long. It was below zero since early this morning. Now, most spots, again, not really dealing with the wind chill because the wind itself is so light or calm. But going forward this evening and tomorrow, the wind is going to pick back up. So I do think we're going to enter, especially after sunset and on into our later evening, back in those sub-zero numbers. So still know that wind chills will be something we're watching even throughout the day tomorrow, even though air temperatures will be climbing a little bit more. We still have plenty of below average temperatures in our extended forecast. You can tell we're right here in the bullseye of coldest temperatures right across Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Illinois, and over to Iowa. It's only 11 in Des Moines right now. Minneapolis about 10. Duluth 7 above. But then notice out west, North Platte, Nebraska, it's 43 degrees right now. So there's actually a warm front across some of those western states that will eventually move in our direction. So we'll level out a little bit more. We jump into the 20s tomorrow, which is still very cold, absolutely, but better than today. And then we'll see 20s the next couple of days as well. So temperatures for the rest of tonight still going to drop, especially closer to your 6, 7, 8 o'clock hours. But then notice by morning, they do start to climb a little bit. So we're going to see a few more clouds tonight, more of a southwest wind that will actually allow temperatures to climb during our overnight hours, which doesn't happen too often. And then that should get us into the 20s throughout tomorrow afternoon. So we're at least moving in the right direction, but even 20s tomorrow, that's a good 15 degrees cooler than average for this time of year. Plus, with the wind picking up, we are still going to deal with wind chills tomorrow morning, potentially below zero for a period of time, and then during the afternoon, likely in the teens. So it's still going to be, that trade-off between sunshine today and the cold, but then we get the wind tomorrow with slightly warmer temperatures, still going to feel cold. So a lot to still prepare for in the next couple of days, Haley. As far as snow chances go, we also have some light snow tomorrow afternoon and evening. Not really expecting it to accumulate.
Okay.
And then Sunday morning, we could have a few more inches of snow in our area as well. So there's no sign of slowing down in the weather over the next couple of weeks. Even looking long range, we kind of go in waves, it looks like, where we warm up, maybe see some 20s, some 30s, and then we have a big drop. And maybe we warm back up, then have a big drop. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens the rest of December.
The weather just heard that we wanted a white Christmas.
I think so.
They could have held off a few weeks. We still have 3 weeks until Christmas.
Right, I know. And like I said, we still have multiple chances for at least light snow. Thankfully, no indications of storms like we just saw last weekend. But when you think about it, even if we have some of these quicker storms that produce an inch or two of accumulation, that's still going to pile up because it's not going anywhere. We only have maybe mid next week, we could see some 30s. But as I just mentioned, then we are going to drop again. So maybe just little indications of melting. And then unfortunately, we're going to be in that, melting, refreezing, melting, refreezing. Not the fun stuff about winter, sadly.
Okay, since I have you, Stephanie, I'm going to be slightly selfish and ask you about Saturday because Delaney and I and several other FOX6 team members signed up to do the Santa Cycle Rampage bike ride, which is going to be so much fun, but Delaney and I are very nervous that we're going to be super cold. So what do we think the weather's looking like right now?
Well, it's looking better than today, so we'll just throw that out there right now. Air temperatures, it's in the morning, right?
It
or
is.
Is it in the afternoon?
Nope, it's like 9:30 in the morning.
Okay, so yeah, I would plan on maybe 20s, but feeling like teens.
Oh, delightful.
So maybe use tomorrow as tomorrow and Saturday, I think temperature-wise will be very similar. The snow looks to hold off until Sunday morning, so I think you'll have a dry ride, which is great, but there will still be a little bit of a breeze. But you guys wear those, Santa costumes, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, if tomorrow's kind of a good day to practice what the weather will be like. Yeah. If anyone is questioning why I'm walking my dog in a reindeer onesie, it's because I'm just practicing what I'll be wearing on Saturday to make sure it feels warm enough.
Hand warmers go a long way. And I'm pretty sure there are beverages involved, right?
There are.
Okay,
there are.
So
I was
going
to say, hand warmers are literally being shopped for and delivered to my apartment as we speak. So we will have that. Which I also wanted to ask you, speaking of warmth, I don't think we've had you on Wild, at least with me, since the Brookfield Collection drive-through for our FOX6 Coats for Kids drive. You were out there all morning long. How did it go?
It went really well. It was slow for a while. I think it was a time where parents are getting kids to school, everybody else heading out to work. So yeah, I'll be honest, it was a little slow, but towards the end, we had at least 3 different cars pull up with over a dozen coats. And so one gentleman, we didn't get his name, but one gentleman said he was cleaning out, I think he owns a few farmhouses up north, and so he was cleaning those out and brought in at least 2 dozen coats. And these are, you know, thick coats. Think of what you would wear up north, where the winters are very hardy. And then we had another gentleman who, his name is Jesse. He works for Alternative Communications, and they work with Holtz Motors. And Holtz Motors did a coat drive with their employees, and they teamed up with Jesse and his teammates. Over 120 coats is what they pulled together, and that was just incredible. So we had cars trickle in, you know, slow but steady throughout the morning, but I think we ended up between a couple of these people who brought so many coats, I think it really turned out to be a very successful coat drive.
Yeah, that's so fun to hear. I was going to say, you talk about some of these different groups who have been doing their own drives for us. My best friend helps run a volleyball club. They've been collecting coats for us. It ends tonight, but she texted me yesterday. She goes, I'm getting nervous that I'm not going to be able to get all these coats to the right spot. We have more than 200.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yes, and I was like, that's the best kind of problem. I said, tell me where to meet you. I'll help you deliver them. But it's been so cool to see our community step up and really help and just be so generous.
Yeah.
And I was jealous of you because you got to hang out with Roscoe.
I know, it was fun. And we had Roscoe and we had Blinky, which is Landmark Credit Union's mascot. And let me just tell you, Roscoe is a little crazy. Like, he was having fun, but he, like, you know, he has his manager.
Yes.
And he was goofing off, we'll say, and I just saw his manager was like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Like, it was like a parent and a child, but you need that to really build up the energy and get everybody excited. I was very thankful that they were there, and we had such an amazing partnership with them too. Anybody who donated at least 2 coats got a voucher for a pair of Admirals tickets. I don't know if we've ever had that in the past, so that was a really great partnership and a really good incentive.
It's just so cool to see everybody help out where they can. You know, even the Admiral saying, hey, we'll help out, we'll bring Roscoe, but we'll also give some tickets so that people have another incentive to donate. So still got a couple days. December 7th is when that drive ends, but we've already seen you guys show up in such big ways for our community.
Yes, absolutely.
And of course, this weather, Stephanie, is reminding us all that we need a good winter coat here in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. Winter has arrived, and early.
Yes, unfortunately. All right. Thanks, Steph, so much for keeping us updated here on the live desk.
Of course.
Always fun when we can see Steph, and she can't, I turned her mic down. But your outfit, once again, Stephanie, crushed it. I'm so jealous of Stephanie's style. I need to go raid her closet. Every time I see what she's wearing to work, I go, that's amazing. They're always so well put together outfits. And the bow right there on that sweater, I'm loving it, Stephanie. It's a good look. All right, let's take, oh wait, I was going to say, Delaney, I was going to say we should take a break, but no, because you have been hard at work during weather to get my tweet ready for us. Okay, so we were talking about the new powder blue road jerseys the Brewers will be debuting next season, which I said I liked because it reminded me of the new baby blue jerseys that the Cubs wear on Fridays, and we now have a picture of it. This is me wearing my Michael Busch jersey this past season at Wrigley. First of all, Michael Busch is an underrated player. He is so good, and I don't see enough Busch jerseys at Wrigley, but I rock mine. He's our first baseman who comes in clutch all the time, not only on great defensive plays, but he can really get us the hits that we need. He's a great home run player as well. You guys are saying this is Milwaukee. I don't care about your Cubs players, but I did just want to quickly show you that jersey. Delaney, do we have the front of it? There we go. So yeah, I mean, I really like it. I guess the Cubs logo is a little different because y'all's new ones have Milwaukee across the chest. And now Delaney's really going to love me because can we now compare them to the Milwaukee ones? So we're going to remember this one. This is the Cubs powder blue. Now this is the new Milwaukee, or sorry, that was Cubs baby blue. This is now Milwaukee powder blue, which I do think comparing them, slight difference in blues. Don't you think, Delaney?
I was going to say, I think there's a little bit of a difference in the blue.
Which is good news because you never want to wear your jersey and then get mistaken for the other team. So I think here, if you're a Brewers fan, I think the blue is going to look different than the Cubs. And if you're a Cubs fan, it will look different than the Brewers.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
Right?
That'll be good.
Would you get this jersey?
I would. I really like the light blue, and I always like the limited edition drops. I never actually end up buying them, but I would.
Yeah, I will say for me, I obviously bought the baby blue jersey because it was a photo of me wearing it. Jerseys are always one of those purchases that I feel like the price can kind of sneak up on you, Delaney. Like you're like, oh, that's so cute. And then you're like, whoa, that is more expensive than I was thinking it was going to be. But that is where having an older brother comes in clutch, because last year he usually gives us the option of like what he's going to buy us. He doesn't buy gifts. Doesn't know prep. So the night before, I think on Christmas Eve, he goes, okay, Haley, this is what I'll do for her. And so then on Christmas, I was told I could either get a new Cubs jersey of my choice. I could get tickets to when the Cubs were playing in Atlanta, because I lived in Greenville at the time, or I could get tickets to a concert. And so I will be like, okay, let me think about it. Like, I don't have to rush into the decision. I knew I didn't want to go to Atlanta. That was his gift to me the year before. Very generous, very kind. It's just a long trip for me to go from Greenville to Atlanta, because then I go back the same night. So I was like, okay, so maybe I'll do a jersey, maybe I'll do tickets. And then I was pretty sure I was going to do concert tickets. Don't you love when I go on these tangents, first of all?
I do, but I also love that he gives you like a couple options for gifts. That's nice.
It is nice. Oh, no, we love David. We're very close to David. So I thought about it. I thought I was going to do concert tickets, but then I kept seeing those baby blue jerseys. But then I saw that they were like, it was going to cost me like $200 or something. And so I was like, well, I could redeem my jersey. So I just clarified, can I still do the jersey? He said, sure. And then I went and I bought it from the official like Cubs store right next to Wrigley Field, and I just sent him a picture of the receipt and said, send it my way. So that was really nice. So my brother bought me that jersey.
Oh, that's really nice of him. Yeah. What a nice gift.
I know. He does a good, and then I feel bad because I never do as good of a job for him, except for 1 year. I crushed it. So he loves, the joke about my brother, wow, where do I even start with this story, Delaney? One, he is a software engineer. So let's be honest, when he wants something, he just buys it for himself. So it's hard to be like, what do you want? Because he's going to say nothing. But I also used to just buy really bad gifts for him when I was like in middle school, high school. Like for 3 years in a row, I bought him a Rubik's Cube. But like it was because they kept coming out with new styles. So it was like, oh, the Rubik's Sphere, the Rubik's. And I was like, oh, David would love this. And I was like, why would I buy that? Like he got so many bad gifts from me. So finally 1 year in high school, I was like, I'm going to get him something good. And he loves Imagine Dragons. So I was like, I'm going to get him 2 floor tickets for when they play in Austin, because he lives in Austin, Texas. So then I was like, okay, I was working in high school part-time at Party City. So it was multiple paychecks. I was paying it back to my dad, who bought them on his card for me. And then on Black Friday, I bought like their album, which he already would have owned, but it was a cheap like $7 or something. So I gave him that and made him think that was his gift. And then I presented him with the tickets, which was good. I found out he thought like my dad bought those for years. And meanwhile, I was on like a payment plan to pay for them, Delaney.
That's so funny, but what a great gift.
Thank you.
Especially coming off of the Rubik's Cubes.
Yeah, I know, that was bad. That was bad. Last year I got him, so the Cubs have famously the W flag, which is what we hang when we win. But if you remember, which you probably don't because it was Cubs and Dodgers, they kicked off this season this past year in Tokyo. It was the very first time they kind of had MLB games at the Tokyo Dome there. He loves Japan. He goes to Japan like every single year. It's his annual trip. So I got him a W flag, but it was in Japanese, like W, like it was in the Japanese characters. That was, I thought, also a really good one.
That is a good gift too.
Thank you.
You've definitely redeemed yourself since the Rubik's Cubes.
Thank you so much. I am trying to figure out what I'm going to do for him this year. I have an idea because he loves Japan. He loves ramen. Don't worry, guys. David does not watch the Wisconsin Live Desk. He will not find this. I was gonna get him like, I think, a thing that like makes eggs, because you want like a soft boil egg for good ramen. And then I was gonna get him like really nice ramen and then some ramen flavoring.
Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah,
that's a good gift.
I try and go above my normal budget for my siblings for David, because he's obviously spending like $200 on me, and I feel bad being like, here's $20. So I try and do a little bit more.
That's thoughtful.
Thank you.
But I like the ramen idea. I think it's good.
Thank you. Okay, well, that'll be, when I get to David's day on my buying one sibling a gift a day. I'll work on that. Instead, yesterday I finally booked that flight, which we were talking about on Travel Tuesday. Which, let's take a live look at the airport, don't you think, Delaney? Shouldn't we do that?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here's Mitchell International Airport. Oh, and I'm happy to report, Delaney, I was deciding if I should fly out of O'Hare or out of Mitchell. I went with Mitchell.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so I think come January I will be thrilled to not have to drive all the way into Chicago traffic.
It'll definitely make a difference come January.
But I will say I'm a little bit nervous. When I fly to Greenville, South Carolina, it's 2 flights. You have to connect through Charlotte. I get to be in a big plane. I do really well in the bigger planes. I don't know why. I think it's because you don't feel turbulence as much. When I come back, I'm flying through Chicago, and I have to take 2 small planes both ways. I know, I'm already, literally my stomach just got nervous, and it's not even for another month.
I know, that would make me kind of nervous.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Southwest flight going. I love when we catch a flight, Delaney.
It's always so exciting to catch a flight.
I don't know why. You know what's funny? We both don't necessarily love flying, but I love airplanes. Like when I'm driving past an airport, I get so distracted being like, wow, it's landing.
It's always exciting to see them like land or take off, but flying, sometimes a different story.
It's exciting to see them. It's not exciting to be in them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel that. All right, Delaney, do we have question of the day ready?
We do. It should be in there.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say we were going to take a break, but I think we should do question of the day, don't you?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so today I think is the perfect day for Wild, which is what we call the Wisconsin Live Desk, which I'm going to kick Delaney off the screen for 1 second so I can explain to you how we got wild. It's because of W-I, this is really hard, you guys, it's reverse, L-D, in case you were ever wondering. That's how we got wild. Now I'm going to bring Delaney back in. That was a good lesson, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. So anyway, today is National Wildlife Conservation Day. So I think the question is a 2-parter today, Delaney. First, what is your favorite animal? Second, where is your favorite zoo outside of Milwaukee? Because we all love the Milwaukee County Zoo.
I think my favorite animal has got to be a cheetah. My favorite zoo, I don't think it was actually a zoo, but it was in Tucson. My uncle took my siblings and I to this like animal sanctuary. It was super cool.
Was it like a Tiger King situation?
No.
Okay.
No, it was not.
Okay, just wanted to make sure really quickly. For me, my favorite animal, I've talked about it before on the Live Desk. Growing up, it was easily like I would just say zebra. Like I love zebras and I still like them. But I also have found myself like being mesmerized by giraffes lately. And when I was in Greenville, I was only there for 3 years. 2 baby giraffes were born at their zoo there.
Really?
So I kept getting to see a cute giraffe, but it's crazy.
That's so exciting.
Because a baby giraffe is born, and it's like 6'2", which it's crazy to me.
It's so crazy to me
How
how big they are when they're born.
Also, you know what's crazy? Animals are born and then they're walking. Like they don't.
I
They're
know.
Like, oh, okay.
It's insane to think about.
And then how does a 6'2" calf fit inside like the mom?
So many questions.
See, so that's why I feel like now that I'm older, like giraffes are starting to like captivate me. But then I also love sea otters and manatees. Were you here when I said that?
I don't think I was here when you said those
Okay, I was trying to figure it out. So sometimes Delaney's not here, and so we'll have like Carrie. Maybe it was Carrie. Because I had asked somebody their favorite animal, and they cracked me up because it was like land, this, sea, this. And then I was like, okay, well, if we're doing it your way, land, zebra, sea, and then I don't remember what I said. But if you go to Epcot at Disney World, they have like a rehabilitation program for some of their sea life. And they have usually 2 or 3 manatees that are getting ready to be released back into the wild. And I just could stand there for hours and watch them. They're so cute.
That is so fun.
Yeah. But my favorite zoo, sorry. The San Diego Zoo is very impressive. I would love to say the Australian Zoo, but I've never been there. I just love the Irwins. I'm actually going to go with Animal Kingdom because that's technically a zoo as well. You get a little Disney.
That one's very fitting for you.
Yeah.
I like it.
You can take a safari. You can go and see the animals. I've also stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge where like you can get a safari view and you wake up and there's like giraffes right outside your hotel room.
Wait, that's awesome.
I
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, that's because people just judge you when you say you're a Disney adult, and then you explain, it's because I'm waking up to giraffes next to me, and then they're like, oh, what? I didn't know you could do that. I want to do that.
No, the more you know.
The more you know.
Because I had no idea.
I promise you guys that before 2026 is up, we're going to turn Delaney into a Disney girl.
One day.
Well,
I've never been to Disney, so...
Maybe that's where we
think,
should go.
Yeah, just jealous that you've gotten to go so many times.
Well, it's also Cheetah Day, and it's International Cheetah Day.
It is.
Which is also, I do like cheetahs because I like the Cheetah Girls. Speaking of Disney, that's a good movie. You watch that one?
Of course.
Okay. She said no. She said no. I was going to turn the lights off and leave. So I'm glad. All right, let's do question of the day. True or false, the Endangered Species Act was signed into law in 1973. Delaney, this is the most bizarre one you've given me yet. This is good. This is tricky. Signed into law in 1973. That's hard because there's definitely been endangered species far before 1973. And sometimes I get a little too confident, and I think Delaney does not usually change the dates of things. But the last time I said that, she had. Okay, so that would be, I don't know, 50 years ago, give or take. Let's go true.
This one is true. Signed into law December 28th, 1973.
December 28th?
Yeah.
Very cool. What do you know what the law does?
Protect and recover species at risk of extinction.
It's an important cause. That's good. That's what they're doing at the Milwaukee County Zoo with the new rhinos.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? This is me thinking out loud here, because that's what people really like when they're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk, Delaney, is me coming up with segment ideas as we're chatting. We got to talk to them when they had just arrived, but the 2 rhinos were still in quarantine. They hadn't gotten to meet yet. The goal is to hopefully have some rhino babies, but we should check in with the zoo, see how it's going. Have they met each other yet? Can we go see the rhinos? We should have them back on.
We should have them back on because we need to check in.
We need to check in on the rhinos, and we can check in on the wild lights because you can go see Christmas lights right now there.
Yeah, we'll have to check in with the zoo.
Delaney is going to, during this email break, do you see how my brain just combined the 2 ideas? During this commercial break, send an email to the zoo.
I'll do it.
Let's do it. All right, Delaney, do my favorite thing, please.
We'll be back after this short break.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Thursday and it's just about 2 p.m. So I'll be with you for the next 30 minutes. Then Mary Stoker-Smith will get you all the way to 3:30. I will say that there is a lot of stuff planned for Mary's hour, all sorts of interviews. There's tons of reasons to stick around after I leave, because I know we haven't had as much for you. You guys just got to hear my Christmas gift situation for my brother. But I hope you liked that. Which, speaking of the holidays, I want to let you know about a holiday drone show that you guys can go and see next Saturday, December 13th. This is at Veterans Park. It's at 5 p.m. It will be free. I have never seen a drone show in person, but I have seen them online, and they are mesmerizing. So I think this could be a really cool free activity to do with you and your family, and hopefully it's a little bit warmer next weekend than it is this weekend. Delaney, would you go to the holiday drone show?
I would, because I've never been to a drone show in person either.
I know. Okay, well, I was going to say we should do this, but actually we can't.
Oh, no.
We cannot, because we will be at the Milwaukee Admirals game that day. They're playing the Chicago Wolves, and you can actually come get rally towels. We'll be in charge of a table there. I don't know why they trusted us with that, Delaney. Oh, it's going to be so fun.
It'll be fun.
No, we're really excited, actually. We've been wanting to go to a Milwaukee Admirals game together. But in all seriousness, it is very cold outside. So if you know somebody who is in need of a warm place to stay or to be right now, one, you can have them call, or you can call 211. That is how you can find help near you. They can direct you to the closest warming shelter, especially because different warming shelters have different rules. Sometimes they're for men only or women only, or sometimes they are for families only. So 211 can really help you find the exact place you need to go, or you can head to fox6now.com. We have information there about warming shelters. But we've listed 5 for you there right on your screen, from the Guest House Milwaukee to Unity Lutheran Church, Milwaukee Rescue Mission, Joy House, and St. Ben's Parish. It's not just uncomfortable to be outside when it is really, really cold. It is dangerous. So I'm very grateful to see the community step up and open some of these warming shelters. And again, if you know somebody who needs a place to stay, or you yourself need a place to stay, these are some great, safe options to keep you warm during these really kind of chilly days that we continue to see the temperatures drop. I did just want to bring you back to a little bit of breaking news that we have had during the Wisconsin Live Desk. It started earlier this morning when we learned the FBI had arrested somebody in connection to kind of this pipe bombs that were placed in D.C. the day before the January 6th riot back in 2021. So on January 5th, 2 pipe bombs were placed in D.C. that potentially could have been lethal. Thankfully, they didn't go off and nobody was hurt, but still it launched a 5-year investigation. And we did learn kind of off of the top here, we had a press conference with AG Pam Bondi, some new details about that suspect in the situation. For starters, we're taking a live look right now. This is Fairfax, Virginia, which is a search that's being conducted at a house that's related to this situation. So we also know that agents have searched Virginia bail bonds office. That was again tied to the suspect here in the pipe bomb case. We did learn it was a man who did this. Pam Bondi kind of talked about there was no new information per se, no new evidence that came forward, no new witness that came forward. It was just them investigating what they already had on file that led to this arrest earlier today. And then I do just want to kind of pull up the information here on the AP. So Attorney General Pam Bondi, again, said a man who was named Brian Coles Jr. was arrested Thursday, that is today, in relation to the January 5th, 2021 pipe bombs left outside both the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Washington, D.C. We know Cole so far has been charged with use of an explosive device. We're told that the investigation is still underway and more charges could be filed in the future. Again, during that press conference at about 1 p.m., about an hour ago, Pam Bondi said, quote, "As we speak, search warrants are being executed," which again, you can see kind of one of those happening right here at home in Fairfax, Virginia. And again, we also know that a bail bonds office was searched as well, tied to this suspect in the pipe bomb case. So definitely some big news there. Again, thankfully those bombs never went off and nobody was hurt, but the FBI and Pam Bondi even reemphasized this during the press conference, said this could have been lethal, this could have been deadly, a very bad, dangerous situation. So they were happy to have made that arrest for you. I want to get us out now to a courthouse in Massachusetts. So this is the Brian Walsh trial that's happening right now. It's in the third day. I just want to set up the scene before we listen into this witness who's on the stand right there. But Brian Walsh is currently on trial in Massachusetts for the alleged murder of his wife, Anna Walsh, who vanished in January 1st of 2023. Now, prosecutors say Walsh killed Anna, dismembered her body, and disposed of her remains. He has already pleaded guilty to disposing of Anna's body and misleading investigators, but he denies the murder aspect. So that is what the jury here is going to have to decide, is whether or not he murdered his wife. Opening statements began just 3 days ago, December 1st. The trial is expected to last 3 to 4 weeks. And of note, Anna Walsh's body has never been found. So a lot of eyes are on this case. It's getting national attention. And let's listen in here together for just a few minutes on the Wisconsin Live Desk to this really big case out of Massachusetts.
January 4th, 2023 at 10:11 a.m.
And what is the value that was input at that time?
The crossing wash.
Could we go down to item 1389? What is the timestamp for 1389?
January 4th, 2023, 10:14 a.m.
And what is the value that was put in?
Mazza Building, Washington, D.C.
And could we now go to item 1402, scrolling down the page? We are now on page 94. What is the timestamp for item 1402?
January 4th, 2023, 10:15 a.m.
And what is the value that is input?
Jeff Chad Tishman.
Can we go to item 1414 on page 95? What is the timestamp for 1415? I'm sorry, 1414?
January 4th, 2023, 10:56 a.m.
And what is the value that is put in there?
Will Fasto.
And then underneath that, is there a different spelling of Fasto for item 1415?
Yes.
And then scrolling down to item 1438 on page 96. On page 96, what is the timestamp for item 1438?
January 4th, 2023 at 1:24 p.m.
And then underneath that is item 1439. What is the timestamp for that?
Sorry. January 4th, 2023 at 1:26 p.m.
And this looks different than the other values. What is this?
This was a search from Apple Maps, sorry.
So when you see that bolded result, is that saying it's from Apple Maps?
Yes, you can see the source file, Apple Maps.
So that's different than Knowledge C, and that's different than Safari?
Yes.
Okay. And then the last one is the one directly underneath it, 1440. What is the timestamp for that?
January 4th, 2023, 2:49 p.m.
And what is the value that is put in there?
I'm good.
Now, if we could close out of this and go to the second chapter in that binder, web history. On this, sir, what is this? The columns that look different, I want to ask you, what is URL?
Uniform Resource Locator. It's the website, essentially the website visited.
Okay. And what is the URL in item number 1?
Casinos.bally's.com/Lincoln.
And what is the last visited time and date?
December 31st, 2022 at 9:28 a.m.
And going to visits and usage pattern, those are columns that are empty, like our last sheet. Was that Celebrite didn't have any data, couldn't give you any data on that?
Yes.
And then for source info, it says Knowledge C. And the one directly underneath it says Safari. Is this also pulling from different databases?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. So as far as the searches, or I'm sorry, as far as the web history for the device, for items 1 through 12, what did you notice about the URLs?
They contained the casinos.bally's.com URL.
And after .com, there's a backslash. What's the next word?
Oh, sorry, Lincoln.
Now, going down to item 13 through 17. So, sir, what did you notice as far as the URLs for items 13 through 17 on page 4?
The URL was mgmspringfield.mgmresorts.com.
And what is the date and timestamp for 13?
December 31st, 2022.
All right, if you are just joining us, we have been listening into this Brian Walsh trial as testimony is now on day, I think, 3 or 4 in Massachusetts courtroom. I know this was not the most kind of informational kind of witness to listen in on. It's a lot of just data he's walking the jury through right now as far as some different searches on Brian Walsh's phone. But I did just want to kind of catch us up to speed of what already happened in court today, as well as the last couple of days of this trial. So much of the morning, we actually heard from the man who was testifying about the intimate relationship that Anna Walsh was having prior to her death and disappearance. It was kind of known that she was having an affair. So we heard from that man who she was having an affair with. Other witnesses then went on kind of talking about just different interactions they had with Anna before she went missing, as well as some other digital forensic evidence, which again is what we're kind of hearing right now in this courtroom. But just to catch up to speed again, the case, Brian Walsh denies killing his wife, but he did plead guilty to misleading police and improper kind of conveyance of a human body. Her body has never been found, so the jury today has to decide, or excuse me, in this kind of 3 to 4 week trial, has to decide, did Brian Walsh kill her? So this is a trial that will be going on for a minute. Kind of the nation has been captivated by it, so we'll keep our eye on it here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we'll certainly check in here and there. I also want to quickly take you out to Virginia, just in case you are just now joining us. This is a home in Virginia that is currently being searched by the FBI. It is the home of Brian Coles Jr. That is the man who was arrested earlier today in relation to some pipe bombs that were left in D.C. the night before the January 6th Capitol kind of riot that we saw back in 2021. So the Attorney General and the FBI are now saying that that man, Brian Coles Jr., left 2 bombs outside both the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee headquarters in D.C. back in 2021. We're told that Cole has been charged with use of an explosive device and that more charges could be coming since the investigation is still underway. Obviously, as you see here, search warrants are still currently being executed and these searches are still underway. Just again, those bombs, they never went off, so nobody was hurt, but this could have been a lethal situation, the FBI says, and certainly a very deadly situation. So we've been keeping our eye on that. We'll also keep our eye on that Brian Walsh trial happening out of Massachusetts. But we also have news right here in Milwaukee to get to as well. So I'm going to take a quick break. Then we'll be joined with Jason Calvi, who's covering a story with kind of the Common Council and those vetoes that we saw them kind of announce last week. I think it was maybe last Wednesday. So we'll take a quick break. We'll check in with Jason and see what he's reporting on today. So stick with us right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk this Thursday afternoon. Time check for you. It is 2:16, which means I've got about 15 minutes left with you here on the Live Desk. Then Mary Stoker-Smith will take over and get you guys all the way to 3:30. I know a lot of Wild today, or the Wisconsin Live Desk, has been really focused on more of the national feeds, but we do have some news that's equally as important right here in Milwaukee. So I want to go ahead and bring in our very own Jason Calvi. He's our political reporter who has been following kind of some of these vetoes that the Common Council overrode last week. And Jason, now the big question that you've really been looking into is, did the Common Council break the law when they voted to override the mayor's veto? What have you found so far today?
Well, it really depends on who you ask, Haley. So, for example, if you talk to the mayor, he raises questions about these veto overrides. Why? Because they were voted on in block. So there was a number of the vetoes that the mayor put into the budget. And at the end of the day, since this is not a show, I'm going to actually stop talking right now. I want to talk to Kale off camera. Kale, is it possible to change that channel to channel 5? Since pretty much what's happening right now is somebody had the TV set to the wrong channel. So I was seeing you go tossing a commercial break, and it was just really, 4 or 5, I don't know, it was like 50 seconds delayed maybe. So here we are. Now we're set. That was the right channel. Thank you, Kale. They said it wasn't a show, so I'm just interrupting the conversation that we're having here.
I liked it,
Thank
Jason.
you, Kale. Appreciate it. Haley, back to you.
Jason, you have to answer our question of what you're looking into here with these Common Council overrides.
You guys can walk through. It's not a show. Yeah, thank you. Sometimes people get really uncomfortable about walking across. Ben Handelman just zips right back and forth right in front of the camera every single day. Others, they like to wait until I'm done. I'm like, I'm going to be here for 15 minutes, so just go ahead. It's not a show.
Okay, Jason has really had a great time so far on the Wisconsin Live Desk today. It is true. I sit right by that camera, Jason, so you're right. Some people like me.
And you see Stephanie Quirk's right behind me now, and a couple days ago, you remember what happened on the Live Desk? She was behind me, and
she
no,
tripped.
let's not embarrass her. Come on.
Yeah, I did see it, though. Okay, Jason, though, we have to go back to the story because I just teased it, and I know our viewers are really going to find this fascinating, what you are working on.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit more about Common Council and these vetoes.
Sure. Did the Common Council break the law when they overrode the mayor's vetoes? They voted last Tuesday. They voted in block. So the mayor had a bunch of vetoes of the Common Council approved budget, and then they voted in one full swoop. Boom, it was all, they overrode 15-0 to override the mayor's vetoes, and that's the end of the discussion. However, if you look at state law, I'll read you a passage from one portion of the state law. It says the Common Council shall vote on each item disapproved by the mayor separately. That's in the state law. It's very similar language is also in the city charter, which is sort of the compact or the guiding principle for the city of Milwaukee. So both in state law and in the city charter is this language that the Common Council to override the mayor's veto is to vote separately on each item. So the mayor today is talking to me, and he mentioned that he has questions about whether or not this was legal or not. He says he's not an expert. That would be something that the city attorney would have to decide if this was legal or not. But he's raising questions about it, and he says at the end of the day, it's possible that the Common Council should have to potentially re-vote on these vetoes. Again, 15-0. But then I talked to Common Council members. I also talked to the city clerk, and what he said was he does announce before the vote. He announces each and every item one by one that the Common Council is then going to vote on, and then they did vote just once to override all of those vetoes, 15-0.
Okay, so this is interesting to me, Jason, because what you just read from us from the state law made it pretty clear that it couldn't be done in this big block like was done by the Common Council last week. Do we think this was just an oversight? How do we think we got to this point of them doing just one vote?
Well, this actually happened when Mayor Cavalier Johnson was on the Common Council. At that time, he was Alderman Cavalier Johnson, and they did this in 2019. They overrode Mayor Tom Barrett's vetoes in one block, overriding all of them together. So there is precedent at the Common Council, and again, Mayor Johnson was part of that council as an alderman at that point in time, voting in block on these veto overrides back then in 2019. So that's what you're hearing from members of the Common Council today. Hey, you voted That way, when you were on the council, you didn't have a problem you didn't raise the issue back then. When I talked with the mayor about this issue, he said it was wrong when he did it, it's wrong when the Common Council does it today. As far as the next steps, the city clerk said, hey, he did what, he followed the rules here by, they didn't have separate votes, but he did announce each of the items of the vetoes, and so that he thinks satisfies this part of the state law. Other complaints that we're hearing from Common Council members is if they had to go through each and every item in the budget and approve it, it would take hours and hours. And again, at the end of the day, if they were to re-vote on these items, they said it would actually lead to the same result, which is overriding the mayor's veto. So
right. So they'll have to do it individually instead of that one big block. All right, very interesting. We'll have to see what happens here. Anything else you want to touch on before I let you go here on the Wisconsin Live Desk?
I think that's it. You guys got a lot of different aspects for this hit today, talking with the people walking by, Stephanie Quirk, all these things. You can see her right back there.
Can you see if Stephanie will wave to us?
Yeah. Stephanie, can you just do a wave to our friends watching the Wisconsin Live Desk right now? It's on a show.
Oh, she's ignoring
She's got
us.
the headphones on. She can't even hear, or she's just tuning me out completely.
She's tuning her out because you put on your Instagram story that she tripped last time when she was in the background.
Yeah, so I did just launch this Instagram. Is it called a profile account? What do you call it?
Your account, yeah.
So I just launched it for everybody watching at home. You can follow me at Jason Calvi TV on Instagram. I mean, I've had it for years and years, but I never really, I posted like one thing a year. So I'm now starting to try to post new and exclusive clips that you're only going to see on that Instagram feed.
Yep, that's
Is that what we call it, or profile?
On your account?
My grid?
I say
my
the grid, if it's on your grid.
So I'd be welcome. I have like 110 followers, so I'd be happy to have you guys join me as one of the exclusive first 10,000. So I'd like to have that number by 10,000 by the end of the year. So please join me on there.
Jason's busy, so I'm not going to talk too long, but you have to tease like the good content. So what our viewers would want to tune into for your Instagram, Jason?
Exclusive content. You're not gonna see anywhere else.
No.
Like my Twitter account, very, very serious, hard-hitting news.
Yeah.
You're going to see a little bit lighter content on the Instagram. You're going to see me going out in nature. You're going to
see stick reviews, and you're going to see your 9-week-old puppy. That's what you got to be pushing.
I did post video of the puppy.
That's what viewers are going to want to see is the 9-week-old puppy.
So come for the puppy, stay for the video. Stephanie Quirk tripping behind me. She didn't get hurt. We all had a good laugh.
I think she took the headphones off. See if she will wave now.
Thank you.
Oh,
will you wave Stephanie Quirk? No, she won't. She's completely.
All right, we'll let you go, Jason. This has been an amazing Wisconsin Live Desk.
Great.
He's
awesome.
done. He's got to go work on his story. He turned the lights off on air. Jason is being so casual today with the Wisconsin Live Desk, just talking to Kale, stopping his live shot there, talking to Stephanie, turning the lights off. If you're ever wondering what it's like to work with Jason Calvi, that's what it is. He's just a really funny guy. I do recommend following him on Instagram. His puppy is adorable. He's got a video of his puppy seeing her reflection for the first time, which was cute. But Jason's right. That is what an active, working newsroom looks like. You have people busy on their assignments, walking kind of in and out of the frame there as they work to get the 4 p.m. news, the 5 p.m. news, and of course the 6 p.m. news ready to go, which you can always catch right here on Fox Local. So make sure and stay tuned when Mary Swicker-Smith finishes getting you to 3:30. Of course, we'll have a little bit more content for you, and then at 4, we'll have our live newscast for you right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Oh, let's check in with Steph there. She's kind of looking now. Quirk was looking for a second, but I really think she's avoiding the camera, Delaney. As soon as I went to her right there, she turned back around.
It did look like she was avoiding the camera, but she's probably getting ready for her story.
No, she probably is. They're all really hard at work in our newsroom. We're hard at work here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, Delaney, you and I. I feel like it's been a lot of just the two of us today here.
It has been.
Yeah. Should we let them in on a secret that everybody was in a meeting for the last hour and a half? So normally we have our reporters. They all canceled on us because they needed to be in that meeting, which is why Jason, I think, is in a little bit of a sillier mood than normal, because he's like, I really have to work on my story, which he will. So tune into Fox Local and you'll catch all the details there.
Yeah, Jason was in a bit of a time crunch, but...
But at least he did it, because the rest of them all canceled on us. Oh, too good. All right, Delaney, toss us to break again, will you?
We'll be back after this short break.
Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back into the Wisconsin Live Desk. Time check for you. It is now 2:28 on your Thursday afternoon. If you missed it, we had Jason Calvi here on the Live Desk a couple of minutes ago. It was a little chaotic. We were trying to get Stephanie Quirk's attention. We did it. There she is. Oh, I don't know that she's not waving. She can't see us, Delaney. She came over just to wave at us, but she doesn't know that she's on right now. Oh, she's telling someone to come in. She's trying to get someone to join her. Yeah, we're wondering if it's Maddie. Could it? Oh, look at this cameo appearance by both of them. Neither of them know they're on yet, though, Delaney. Can someone in the newsroom tell them to wait? You're on. They must have changed the TV. Do you think they'll see themselves? Yay! There we go. Our Girls Guide cameo from them. All right, they're both good. That was a good. There we go. Now they know for sure that they are on. They are waving to us. Girls Guide. We love this team, and they're both good. They're both okay. Of course, we did see Quirk trip in the back of Jason's Instagram, which is what inspired that whole conversation. Oh, they're being really silly. They're dancing away there. There they go. Back to work. That was a good time, Delaney, wasn't it?
That was fun.
I think this might be in my top 5 for strangest Wisconsin Live Desk. So if you've been doing it the last
It's definitely
2 hours,
up there.
Thank you for joining us. A couple of things we are getting ready as we enter this final hour of the Wisconsin Live Desk today. A SpaceX launch is supposed to happen here in about 10-ish minutes. These are very finicky. Sometimes they go off without a hitch. Sometimes there's delays. Sometimes they just get outright canceled. But here's what we know about today's launch. SpaceX's Falcon 9 is targeting the launch of 28 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit from Space Launch Complex in Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. So basically, in this launch, 28 satellites will go off, and it's happening here in California. Those Starlink satellites are super helpful to get kind of service in areas that are very rural that you normally wouldn't. I learned about that because sometimes, different news stations will bring kind of Starlink satellites with them. I think of Hurricane Helene. We were going into really rural areas of like Asheville and Buncombe County that had no service, but we were trying to do live reports, and we brought a Starlink satellite, which then communicated with the thing that had been in the sky to get us your service. That's what we know there about Starlink. We're also keeping our eye on this feed that just recently popped up. This is a stakeout camera right by the White House, so we keep our eye here. You never know who's going to step up to this. Sometimes it's Caroline Leavitt. Sometimes it is different DOJ members. Sometimes it's just anybody in the Trump administration. So we'll keep our eye on that camera. We'll see if we can kind of find it for you. If you did miss kind of our big breaking news at the beginning, it had to do right here. This is a live look at Pfizer. Unfortunately, Milwaukee Bucks star Giannis Antetokounmpo left last night's game hurt with a calf strain, reporting now 2 to 4 weeks that he will be out, which that could be actually a good situation. It could have been a lot worse, so 2 to 4 weeks isn't too bad, but we know a lot of people sad to lose Giannis. A lot of people worried about these kind of trade rumors. Is he staying in Milwaukee? Is he leaving Milwaukee? Again, yesterday, Doc Rivers, coach of the Bucks, really said, don't worry about that. Like let's not freak out. There's been no trade discussion, so we'll continue to monitor that as well. Finally, we've been keeping our eye on the Brian Walsh trial happening out of Massachusetts. Again, he is charged with murdering of his wife. This is a witness that we're looking at that's currently on stand. That is not Brian Walsh. But Walsh is on trial for the alleged murder of his wife, Anna Walsh, who disappeared back in January of 2023. Prosecutors say Walsh killed Anna, dismembered her body, and disposed of her remains. He has already pleaded guilty to disposing of Anna's body and misleading investigators. So he admits that he disposed of the body, but he denies murder. So that's what this trial will decide. It's expected to last 3 to 4 weeks in Massachusetts. It has certainly garnered national attention. So let's go ahead and listen into this again. They were going over some digital data last time we dipped into the feed. But then when we come back after this, Mary Stoker-Smith's going to have you from there. So thanks for hanging out with me the last 2 hours here on this interesting edition of the Wisconsin Live Desk. But we will listen and hear this trial. And Delaney will keep her eye on that Starlink launch as well with SpaceX and see if we go to that next. But thanks for joining me. Mary's got you from here.
They can't find her at work.
And what is the date and time of that?
January 4th, 2023, 10:33 a.m.
And if, Ms. Gilman, could we go to page 14? And could you scroll down, Ms. Gilman? Ms. Gilman, could you stop? Looking at the last message on page 14, who is the sender of that? What number?
The number ending in 5332.
And what is the body of that text?
I think that you need to report this ASAP.
And what is the date and time of that message?
January 4th, 2023, 10:59 a.m.
Your Honor, may I approach?
You may.
Showing you this, is this another one of the reports you created via Celebrate of a text thread?
Yes, sir.
And does this involve 3 numbers?
Yes.
So besides 8646, what is the first contact that's associated with this text thread?
A number ending in 7966.
And what is the name of that contact?
Anna, do, and then a number sign.
And then what is the other phone
Thompson.
number associated with this thread?
A number ending in 6708.
And what is the contact name?
Gem.
The Commonwealth would seek to have this marked as the next exhibit, Your Honor, which would be a text thread between 8646, 7966, 6708, and 6708.
Thank you. Any objection to that? Now in evidence says 166. Bless you.
Ms. Gilman, may we have this published? Looking at the first message, sir, it's blue. What number is sending this?
The number ending in 6708.
And what is the body of this?
It is a picture.
And then above the picture, is there any words?
I love my necklace, exclamation.
And then under recipient, what does it say? Participant, sorry, misread it.
The number ending in 8646.
And does it acknowledge what time it was read?
Yes.
What time was it read?
January 2nd, 2023, 2:26 p.m.
Going down, please, Ms. Gilman. Who's sending this text? What number?
The number ending in 6708.
Gem?
Yes.
And what is the body of this?
Last night was so good, exclamation, thank you.
What is the date and time of this text that it was read?
It was read January 2nd, 2023, 2:26 p.m.
Going down to the next text, which number is sending this?
The number ending in 6708.
And what is the body of it?
The chef, world class, and company equally so.
And when was this read according to the phone?
January 2nd, 2023, 2:26 p.m.
Can we scroll down to the top text on page 3? On the top text of page 3, which number is sending this?
The number ending in 8646.
And what is the body of it?
Looking good, buddy. Thomas just found my phone. It was in William's bed. Another amazing New Year Eve together as a triumvirate. Looking good in your new necklace.
And scrolling down to the final text. Which sender is this?
The number ending in 6708.
And what is the body of it?
My new necklace made a big splash yesterday as I wore it everywhere. I got double takes in the streets and at Whole Foods in Swampscott.
And what was the time that that text was read?
January 2nd, 2023 at 4:13 p.m.
May I approach, Ron?
You may.
Showing you another text thread. Is this another one that was created, another report you were able to create from the phone?
Yes, sir.
And does this only have 2 numbers associated with it?
Yes.
What are the 2 numbers associated with it?
The number ending in 8646
Yes, sir.
and the number ending in 6708.
And that also has a contact designation of Jem?
Yes, sir.
The Commonwealth will seek to enter this as the next exhibit, Your Honor. The text thread between 8646 and 6708.
Any objection? The text thread between 8646 and 6708 is in evidence as 167. $167?
Directing your attention to the top of page 2 of this thread.
And good afternoon, everybody. You have been listening to the Brian Walsh trial there. It seemed like a natural break there to take. We'll keep an eye on that trial and bring you any more developments as they become available. But in the meantime, welcome to the Wisconsin Live Desk. As I just took over for Haley, I'm Mary Stoker-Smith. So good to have you along. Guess what? We are as packed as that Thanksgiving plate that you had the other day. We got a big show for you today. We're going to check on the weather because you see here, layers. I mean, it is really frigid out there. So we're going to find out when this cold snap will break. I have my FOX6 Storm Center app at the ready. However, nothing like our weather experts. They're going to join us in just a bit. But when we come back, we're going to talk to Brett Lemoyne about a very special sophomore from Carroll University in our viewing area who's receiving quite the honor. And it's going to be the honor to have you along and to hear more about that after we take a quick break, regroup, and bring it right back here on the Fox local live stream desk. But Brett's standing in the wings. I can see him right now. He is smiling and ready to go. So we'll take a real quick break and be right back. Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. So glad that you're with us today. We have a lot to get to. Let's jump right in. We're going to bounce over to the all-important, the effervescent Brett Lemoyne. I was trying to punch you right on cue. You know how like you have a walk-up song? Who, me?
Oh my gosh. Wow, what an introduction.
Oh, I tell you. Are you staying warm out there? First of all, I see behind you all the garland, and you know, luckily the sun's hopefully coming through the window and bringing you some much-needed warmth.
It is, and that is 100% the reason why I am inside for this live hit and not outside, because it is so bitterly cold. But we are in the Boneyard Pub and Grill in Mukwonago. I want Mike Pasuik, our photographer, to just kind of pan around. This is such a cool place. This is a family-owned restaurant here in Mukwonago. And we've met a pretty incredible woman, Marion. I want to tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Brooklyn Jones. She's a Carroll University student, and she just received a pretty tremendous scholarship. It's the U.S. Food Scholarship. There's only 18 people in the entire country who get this scholarship, and she is one of them. And the reason she received this scholarship is because she wrote about her passion, and her passion is taking over the Boneyard Pub and Grill from her dad when he retires. And you know what, Mary? You know what?
What?
I don't like talking about her. I want to actually, Brooklyn. She just happens to be seated. Come join me here.
She just popped up. I love that.
At the booth.
I love that.
She's here.
Oh, hi,
You're
Brooklyn.
here like all the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah, most of the time. When she's not at school. You are a Carroll University student. You're graduating in, the plan is 2028, right? And what I think is so fascinating about you is that you have a passion for running a business. And you grew up since kindergarten. You've been coming here helping out Dad at the restaurant, along with your siblings. We don't want to shortchange them. But what's interesting is whenever I talk to someone who runs a business, they say their least favorite part is managing the books, managing staff. That's your favorite.
It sure is, yeah. It's just what I've learned to love. My dad's in the office a lot, working on the payroll, all that, the chain supply. That's what I've grown to love, so.
That's awesome. So when did you applied, I would imagine a couple months ago for the scholarship. When did you get the official word?
I believe in the summer. It was just this past summer.
Yeah, and $20,000, wow, right? I mean, you must have been like, your heart must have beat out of your chest.
Yeah, I actually thought when I got the email, I thought it was a scam. Like I didn't believe it at first, so.
And tell everybody, what will that money mean to you? What will you use that money for?
Yeah, so it'll pay for my entire tuition over for this year and next year, and then I'll be able to start graduate school within either the year after or shortly after I graduate, so I can get my master's.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And all with the goal of not only taking over this business, Boneyard, but maybe even starting something of your own too. So you've got it all set. You got this whole plan in place.
I have lots of goals for my life. So.
That's so cool. You know, Mary, I mean, isn't that something? You know, we think too that it's so hard starting a business, and it's so hard, especially in today's climate, because Brooklyn and her dad, we've interviewed both of them for our report later that'll air later today. Both of them said, you know, since COVID, it's been really hard finding staff, especially to retain staff. And you've got excellent servers here. You've got excellent people behind the bar, and everybody that greeted us when we came in were smiling and they were lovely. But the reality is it's hard finding those people. What has been, I mean, what do you think changed after the pandemic?
I think a lot of people went out and really understood that small businesses need the help all the help they can get, and those people that really want to help us out are the people we really appreciate. And I think after COVID, they just, people changed their mindset.
Yeah.
Well, so now I'm going to make you put your manager hat. Well, hold on, well, Mary. One final question for Brooklyn here.
Sure.
I'm going to make you put your manager hat on and tell me. I mean, like, what is the solution? What do you think is the solution to finding and retaining good workers?
I think it's really important to make sure you have goals for them to work ahead within your business. What I've been learning in school is that people need to feel appreciated to want to stay and want to work hard. So I think that's really important, is to have them work towards a goal to either a higher up position or even just finishing those easy tasks that just make the day better.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Mary, what do you think?
Well, you're one step ahead of me, Brett. That was what I was going to jump in with, is that I couldn't believe these statistics. According to the Wisconsin Restaurant Association, just over 30% are fully staffed. And we see that all the time, like, you know, you get to a restaurant, things are going slow, you say, oh, you know, so it's really hard to find those gaps. Brooklyn, I'm assuming only 18 of these scholarships were awarded. You had to do something to really set yourself apart, and no doubt you'll use that skill set to staff and manage your restaurant. What do you think you did to make you really stand out and receive this honor of not only the scholarship for the money, but just to be singled out?
Well, sure. Mary wants to know, what was it that you think singled you out to be one of these 18 that were chosen for the scholarship? You had to write a letter, and we've said you were talking about your passions, but what was it that you think made U.S. Foods go, wow, Brooklyn's our gal?
Yeah, I think many of the other scholars, they really have a passion for cooking the food and the culinary arts. Well, I love and appreciate it. I love the management side of it, so I think that's just something unique that maybe they don't see as often, that a lot of people want to be a head chef or some part of like a higher up in a restaurant, but I really want to own the business and be in charge of all those people one day.
Yeah, Brooklyn. I mean, I struggle in the kitchen unless it's something I can put in the microwave, and B, I can't even. I mean, figuring out the tip is a struggle for me, right? I mean, a lot of people, yeah, Mary's agreeing with me. Thank you for that encouraging nod, Mary. But, you know, I mean, balancing the books for any type of business is really hard. And you said the supply chain issue here, too, which the Wisconsin Restaurant Association also noted in their report, has been impacting a lot of restaurants throughout the state. That kind of compounds things too, doesn't it? When you have to kind of budget for maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, one issue we've been with inflation and everything, it's been as the distributors raise their price for the ingredients of things that we use to make our product, it's difficult for us not to have to eat that higher cost instead of giving it to our customers, because we like to keep it affordable for all the families that come in and are loyal customers. So that's one thing that we've been struggling with, is not raising the prices, but it's also at some point you have to. So
yeah. Sometimes you don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
Well, Brooklyn, thank you so much. You're making Carroll University proud. For sure. Yes,
Brett,
Mary.
I just have one last question for Brooklyn before we go. I know she's a business girl, but there's got to be a signature dish that she makes that she's just the aficionado on. Ask her what that would be. Give us the inside scoop, because maybe we'd see it on the menu there at Bonefish.
Okay, so Boneyard Grill and Pub. Mary wants to know. She goes, okay, we know you're more on the book side, right? But if you were in the kitchen, what are you making? What's your dish?
my favorite on the menu is the fried chicken bowl. It's got the mashed potatoes and the homemade roasted corn and peppers and onions all mixed together. It's the best on the menu, that's for sure.
That sounds so good. And Brooklyn's dad, Jim, the owner, the current owner, until Brooklyn takes over, he gets here every morning at 5 a.m. to make homemade soup. For all day. Can you believe that? I mean, and that is the dedication that we're talking about when we talk about small business owners.
Yes.
He spent 100. He told me he spent 100 hours or more per week when he first opened up almost 2 decades ago, and now he's cut back to just over 40, which is impressive.
Still,
but, Mary, again.
That shows that dedication. Boy, well, what a lovely young lady. We need to see her name on the marquee. Boneyard Bar and Grill in Mugwanago. That would be worth the trip. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, Mary, for having us in Brooklyn. Thank you, too. We got to let you get back to work because you got stuff to do.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. But yeah, Mary, we'll send it back to you at the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Oh, awesome. That was great. It's just what we needed. Brett, thank you for that. Wasn't that great? Can you imagine all those hours making all that soup? I cannot imagine. Homemade soup, hard to do, hard to get a good flavor. You got to chop, you got to mix, you got to do whatever. Either way, we need some comfort food right now because It is chilly. There's just no other way to say it out there. I know that all of you have bundled up extremely. You had to. You just had to do what you had to do because we had to get this chill out of the air. So I am going to, as you can see here, I'm fiddling with the deal. I got you on the green screen on purpose because that's how I always introduce you, right? It's unbelievable. I'm like, you got to put stuff in front of the green screen, but more importantly, to see that big bow on your sweater. It's beautiful. But Stephanie, anything that you can do, a bow, a extra boa perhaps, anything bold to take away these chills. It is really cold. I know it gets cold. I keep thinking, don't be a wimp, Stoker, but we're not used to this early, right?
Oh, these numbers today are over 20 degrees below average. No, this is very early to have cold like this. You know, we think of January as a really, really cold month here over the course of a year. January into, say, early February, then we start to warm things up typically. So no, this is very abnormal for this time of year. Thankfully, it's also fairly brief. We're at least going to see 20s back in the forecast tomorrow. Remember, we have a pretty low bar at this point. 20s is going to feel a little nicer than what we have out there right now. Thankfully, though, that the wind is light. In fact, it's calm in a handful of spots, so not a huge wind chill across the area. But again, look at some of our numbers right now. We are all in the teens. We've held steady at 17 in Milwaukee for the last 3 hours, 16 in Waukesha, 19 in West Bend. But look at some of those northern communities. Barely in the teens, and same with Watertown down to Janesville. Now, it is important to note, too, normally we talk about record high temperatures in the way of summertime heat. Today, we could break a record, or more so tie the record for today, but it's for cold high temperature, meaning the coldest temperature as our high for the day today was set back in 1976, and it was 17 degrees. So right now we're tied for that. So not exactly the records we like to talk about this time of year. Now, our feel like temperatures have been okay. Our wind chills have been okay so far because the wind has been light. It's still very cold, but it could be a whole lot worse if that wind were to pick up. So wind chills, unfortunately, will go right back below zero like we saw this morning after sunset and throughout the evening. Temperatures are really interesting in the days ahead, though. We're going to drop a little bit this evening, but then clouds will roll in and a southwest wind will pick up overnight. So we'll actually warm a little bit by tomorrow morning, and then we'll get to 20s tomorrow afternoon. Same with Saturday and Sunday. So we will see a little bit of progress in the temperature department, I think. You can see, though, we're clearly in the bullseye here of some of the coldest temperatures across the U.S. right now, right along Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa, northern Illinois. And then looking out towards the west, you're seeing the warm front, the 30s in western parts of the Dakotas, 40s in parts of Nebraska. We're not going to see 40s in our forecast, and certainly not even 30s this weekend, but next week we could actually have a few days in the 30s. It looks like it'll come with some messy weather, but right now there is at least a little bit of hope to get out of this really, really frigid air like we've had today. So again, it's been a cold one today. Temperatures are going to fall again this evening, especially right after sunset with the fact that we have that clear sky. So really cold around your dinner hour, but then notice as clouds roll in and a southwest wind picks up, by tomorrow morning we'll likely be back to teens. So still very cold, and wind chills will likely still be below zero, but I do think it'll be just a little bit better than what we saw this morning. And then high temperatures tomorrow afternoon should reach into the middle and upper 20s. Still breezy, but warmer than what we're experiencing today. And I just mentioned earlier, I do think Saturday and Sunday will at least be in the 20s, so still better than the teens we had today. Now, feel like temperatures over the next couple of days. This is for our morning hours, so I do still think tomorrow we're going to wake up to negative wind chills, unfortunately. Then we'll see wind chills Saturday, Sunday morning in the teens, have another cold day on Monday, and then start to level things out just a little bit more, especially by Wednesday. Now, we've got clear skies out there right now. We talked about that. That's the reason why after sunset, the temperatures will likely still drop quite a bit, but there are clouds out towards the west, and more so showing you our surface map. Number one, because we have some flurries up towards the northwest, and number two, we've got a warm front across parts of the Dakotas. So that's what's going to eventually bring in some of that warmer air that we see late in the day tomorrow, and then again, still some 20s over the weekend. Now, tomorrow we will also have the chance for some light snow, flurries to light snow showers. Not really expecting accumulation tomorrow, but throughout the afternoon and evening, we will likely have just little pockets of flurries and light snow showers off and on. We're also watching Sunday morning. I do think we'll have a batch of maybe some steadier snow Sunday morning that could potentially accumulate, but only to about an inch or two. So still not looking at any, major storm systems compared to what we saw last weekend, but it is, again, another chance for at least a little bit more in the way of some light snow. And we're also going to notice the wind picking up just a little bit more in the next couple of days. Nothing crazy, but likely about 15 miles per hour tomorrow and throughout the weekend. I know Saturday morning is the big bike ride downtown, the Santa Rampage, I believe. Haley was talking about it earlier. I know Ted was talking about it last week. So gotta layer up for that. But thankfully, the precip will hold off until Sunday morning. Yeah. But I think bottom line, Mary, it's gonna be better than today. Still chilly, but not as bone chilling as what today has been.
I think Tom used the word yesterday, just to tick up. We'll take any tick that we can get. Ticks never sounded so good. In all seriousness, for that Santa Rampage, I thought about that today as I was looking at the Oak Leaf Trail. Like, can I run? That's part of their path. I know there's still a lot of icy patches out there, despite that sun cover today. So you need to be careful if you are riding a bike or walking the dog, or maybe just going for a brisk walk. You got to be careful for any patches that you may not see, right?
Yeah, and that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because even today, hard to think that we saw any melting today, but with the full sunshine, we did. So with how cold it's going to stay throughout the night tonight, and we're going to stay below freezing tomorrow too, kind of the same deal. Maybe something that, melted into more liquid than ice during the day today. It's just going to refreeze. So still, evening commute, as you're walking, as you're running outside, just make sure you are aware that that is a possibility. And that's kind of where we're at right now, Mary. Even with some of these warmer temperatures the next couple of days, we may melt a little, it'll refreeze.
Yes.
Melt a little, refreeze. So that's something just to keep in the back of your mind, I think, for the remainder of the winter.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah, but this little snow cover that you're talking about, this dusting, we're like, please, after last weekend, we got this.
Oh yeah, nothing, absolutely nothing.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that we're doing a little bit of a warm up. Thank you, Steph. Always good to see you. I love that bow. I love that bow. I love that bow.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you later. Thank you. And then when all else fails, you guys, I keep bringing these out. I carry these in like every bag. I have these little hand warmers. I know it's a plug for the hot hands, but I just got the mega size. I gave one to Holly Baker, our other weather expert, of course, because, she's still acclimating herself from the south. So these are in every bag, at times in every pocket, in every coat that I have, because in a pinch, bam, instant heat. I love those things. I even put them in my feet at times. Well, when we do all this preparing, of course, for the cold weather, we also need to really protect ourselves all seriously. Yes, we need to stay warm, but we also need to think about our heart. Whether you're shoveling, whether you're getting ready to travel for the upcoming holiday season, let's talk about something very important, and that is the ticker. We're going to have a doctor on next to talk about our heart health during the holidays when everything is moving at what seems to be double speed. Dr. Joy Lincoln is going to be joining us from the Medical College of Wisconsin and Children's Wisconsin about some heart health. Really important tips, and a few that I thought, I don't know if I knew that or I've been reminded of that. So keep it right here. She's going to be right back with us after this quick break. Keep it right here. See you in a bit. Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk, everybody. Mary Stoker-Smith. Before we went to break, we talked about heart health over the course of the holidays, and we're going to have a doctor on in just about 15 minutes. But first, we want to take you to New York City because it was 1 year ago today, just a year ago today, December 4th, 2024, that United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed on a New York City sidewalk. It was a day that so many of us remember, a really tragic story. The suspect, Luigi Mangione, is back in court today for a pre-trial court hearing for the murder of the healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Fox's Caroline Elliott is in New York City. She has been covering this, and lawyers are basically trying to get a key piece of evidence thrown out as she's been covering this and peeling back layers for us. We want to see exactly what's happening inside of the courtroom and how that particular move, where they are trying to get a key piece of evidence out, how that could really, really reshape this case and almost define it. Caroline joining us now from a very chilly New York. We really appreciate you being here. You've been covering this. Bring us up to speed, and then tell us exactly about that key piece of evidence when you can, what exactly that is.
Yeah, Mary. So again, we have been covering this court hearing all week, and the point of this is the defense is trying to get the judge to throw out some of the key evidence in this case. So the key evidence in question right now, Mary, is that gun, the silencer, the notebook where police say he laid out those assassination plans, and his phone that was found in his backpack. And the reason for that, Mary, is because police said that, or the defense rather, said that police did not have a warrant when they searched his backpack. And they say that police also did not read him his Miranda rights when he was first arrested. So his lawyers are saying that his rights were violated, and therefore that evidence should be tossed out. Mary.
That's really an interesting key piece of evidence, because you wonder, then will that body camera disprove that? Will it show it? Clearly, from the time that 911 call was made, Mangione was on the run. Let's take people back. Nobody knew where he was, and all of a sudden a McDonald's worker, if I recall correctly, called 911, and I said, I think the suspect in the shooting of that United Healthcare CEO, he's in the restaurant. And it'll be interesting to see how far they go back when it comes to that initial body cam and his arrest. And he seemed very shaken, a little bit shaken, and when he was first apprehended. Can you take people back to that initial time when he was arrested?
Yeah, so when he was first arrested, exactly, like you said, it was a McDonald's worker that called 911 and said, hey, I think this is the guy that NYPD is looking for. And we heard from the officer yesterday who said that when that first went down, he did not even think that it could be real. That was his first thought, this cannot be real. But he got to the McDonald's, he said that when he saw those brows on Luigi Mangione, he thought that that was a match. Mm-hmm. And so then all of this entire encounter was on body cam video. So we'll add that. And the point, again, of this court hearing, they're looking at all this evidence, and they're going through this body cam minute by minute, second by second, trying to see exactly what happened. So again, unclear exactly when this will wrap up. It could even go into next week, but they're really, really looking at that body cam video, and his lawyers are saying that in that body cam video, it proves exactly what they're saying. Prosecutors, though, say that this search was legal, and so they're fighting against that. We'll have to see how the judge rules, though, Mary.
Yeah, exactly. And he has pleaded not guilty to 9 state charges, including murder in the second degree, and 4 federal charges, including use of a firearm to commit murder, which that, by the way, is eligible for the death penalty. Before we let you go, Caroline, this case has had a lot of emotion tied to it, has seen a lot of divisiveness. There are people, as we have seen protests through when this happened, up until then, until now, a lot of people were saying, hey, wait, looking at him as kind of this vigilante, and other people saying, no matter what his political beliefs were or beliefs about healthcare, he had no right to take a human life. It seems like there has been a lot of division right across the line. What percentage we don't know, but any protesters out there, anybody putting on a display as to how they feel about this case going on right now?
Yeah, that has been a really odd part of this case, Mary, where you see a lot of supporters online and outside the courthouse saying that, you know, what he did was heroic in a way. Again, we know that President Trump himself has condemned that, and he said that the support was, quote, sick and twisted. But we have certainly seen those people out here. We've seen them online over the last year. So that's a pretty rare part of this case, Mary.
Yeah. Well, Caroline Elliott reporting live there in New York. We really appreciate the update. We know that you'll have updates throughout the day, and you'll continue to cover this pre-trial hearing for Luigi Maggioni. Thank you very much for your contributions today. Appreciate it, and we'll see you later in Newscasts.
Thank you.
You bet. Well, all right, that's a lot going on there. We're going to continue to update those stories, or Caroline's story at 456 tonight, and of course, as warranted as things continue to progress there. We're going to take another quick break right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and when we come back, as promised, we're going to have some tips for you, some heart-healthy tips to keep you healthy and get you prepared this holiday. And like I said, there are a couple surprises in there that you may not have thought of, you may not have heard of. We're going to be joined by, I'm going to call her Dr. Joy, right after a quick break on the Wisconsin Live Desk. So glad you're with us this afternoon. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. Mary Stoker-Smith joining you. I hit the end instead of the open because I'm so giddy. I'm so happy. I was just talking to our next guest about her native land, England, and I said, I've never been across the pond, but boy, seems like it would be a great trip, right? Tea, crumpets, and everything in between. But we're going to keep this bubbly talk going because we are joined by Dr. Joy, as I've been calling her, and she's going to give us some really important heart health tips. It's important that, you know, we think about everything we got to do, the checklist, the checklist, the checklist, the checklist. And last night when I was reminding people, it was December 6th, Buddy Check 6 coming up on the 6th to do their monthly breast exam. I said, you know, it's important that through all of the baking and the parties and the presents, we got to take time for us. We want to be fully healthy for all of the celebrations, of course, going on right now. And so for that, we are joined by our very esteemed guest here. There we go. Dr. Joy Lincoln of the Medical College of Wisconsin and Children's Wisconsin. You are current Milwaukee American Heart Association Board President, so you know about all things heart, and we really appreciate you being here with us on this Thursday afternoon. The thing I want to start in with, first of all, is we have so many tips here, but a lot of us are traveling, a lot of us are busy, and oh no, I forgot to take the medication, or oh no, I forgot to pack the med. Give us some really useful tips, because even though you do things every day, perhaps by routine, this time of year, it's so easy to get thrown off, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And my advice is make a list and check it twice, right? I've got 3 pieces of advice for those traveling over the holidays. You know, before you do travel, check in with your healthcare provider. Make sure that you're safe to travel, especially those taking long flights, right? If you're going overseas or you're traveling cross country, just make sure that it's okay for you to fly with blood clot risks and everything else. Manage your medications, right? Make sure you have enough medication to last the duration. Stock up with your pharmacy. Just make sure you have everything you need. And if you're traveling by air, make sure you put all that medication in your carry-on luggage, right? Don't put it in your suitcase that's going to go on board just in case it gets lost. So make sure you have it at hand at all times. And my third piece of advice is plan ahead. You know, the airports are hustle and bustle over the holidays. And if you have trouble walking or you get out of breath, plan ahead, you know, book a wheelchair to take you through the airport. Just make sure you have someone with you that can help navigate you to where you need to be and get there safely.
Well, and you know, the CPAP machines, for example, if you need devices when you are traveling, even if it's, you know, by train or whatever, you know, make sure that you have those available. And those are usually always fine to go through a TSA or any security.
Right.
They're essential items for so many people.
Yeah, and just check in with your airline provider, check in with the train before you go. Just make sure there's space and they're aware that you're bringing it on. Make sure the day that you are traveling is as smooth as possible.
Right. Now, you are very clear about making a list, making sure that all the, say, for example, you have a pill dispenser there. You know, I take these meds Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's important in case there's a delay, perhaps your flight is canceled or whatever.
Yeah.
People should have extra meds, right? But so is that like another separate caner to say spare meds or extra meds for emergencies?
Yeah, I would say that, and make sure you just have it for the rest of the duration of your trip, right? In case you get delayed when you get there or you have to stay for unforeseen circumstances. You just want to make sure you're double covered, and your pharmacy will help with that, getting you there to the where you need to be.
Yeah. What about, you know, let's talk about some of those unforeseens, for example, stress levels. I mean, even the best families and the best laid plans can go south this time of year, particularly with weather getting in the way. What are some of the things you can do for people who are really struggling with, I don't want to get my blood pressure up, I don't want to get stressed? It can take a toll on the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would just say, listen to your body, right? Breathe slowly, just take some deep breaths each time, minimize stress. Eat balanced diet. We all get tempted over the holidays, and that's fine, but just make sure we balance that and keep up that physical exercise. I know it's hard to get outside right now, but make sure you're doing things to keep active and sleep. So my advice is just listen to your body, check in with yourself, and keep some of the day-to-day healthy living lifestyles that you've become accustomed to, keep them going over the holidays.
For those people who don't have a snowblower, who have to deal with shoveling, for example, I remember my 8th grade math teacher said, I want this shoveling for me. It's the only exercise I get all year. I remember her saying it was so funny. But there are some real serious consequences to getting out there thinking, I got this. It'll be a quick 20-minute whirl. We saw an abundance of snow this past week on Saturday in particular. What do you say to people who have to get out there and tackle the snow?
Yeah, I think when you're sitting on the couch and you're watching it come down outside, you feel great. And then suddenly you're like, I feel good. I'm going to go and shovel the snow. If you know you have a heart condition or you're susceptible, just be careful. Take it easy. If you feel out of breath, stop, take a break and don't overexert yourself. Just listen to what your body's telling you.
Absolutely. And last question, it can be pretty tough to get in with your primary by the end of the year, but sometimes they will offer like a teleconference, whatever.
Yeah.
If we are able to check in with our primary before the end of the year, we're concerned about this, even going to the new year. Give us a couple really good questions that we may not think of top of mind. We may have forgotten about when it comes to our heart health this holiday season. What should we be asking our doctors right now?
Yeah, I would just be honest about how you feel, get your blood pressure checked. Do you feel like walking stairs is harder than normal? Just go in there, have an overall exam and make sure that you feel like you should be feeling at this time of year.
Yeah, that's really good. And I love that you talked about the rest, because that's one thing that tends to get sidelined. We almost have to make an appointment with ourselves to get at least 7 to 8 hours and get some real good exercise in. So really great tips. So thank you very much. Really appreciate you being here, and happy holidays to us. We know that you're going to be managing your stress. We'll think about you, Dr. Joy.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, really great health tips there. Just so important to check in with your primary. And like I said, even if you're not able to do an in-person visit because of the time of year, maybe perhaps you can do a telecall or whatever. But either way, just stay really safe. It's one of those times of year we want to enjoy family and friends, but we want to be our robust selves. And so it's important to keep that in mind. Always so much going on, right? We still got stuff going on. We want to go ahead and check in. We're going to take a really, really quick break because I can see a couple things in the routers here that I want to show you, including an event happening next Wednesday. I believe it's next Wednesday. I don't know if that date is right. No, it's next year actually. But there's an event happening today outside. A sparkle in the sky, a show in the sky. We'll figure out how we're going to name it, but I'm going to tell you about that after a very quick break. Keep it right here on Fox Local. We'll be right back.
Is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Mary Stoker-Smith. It's been a pleasure to be with you today. I told you we had a jam-packed show, and guess what? Our show isn't over because, as you know, once I end here, I'm going to see you again at 5 o'clock, and I want you to be watching FOX6 News at 5. However, if you can get by a window at exactly 5:14, we are going to see our final supermoon of 2025. 5:14 tonight. Won't that be a beautiful sight in the sky? I love those supermoons. And especially if you've got your holiday decorations up, your Christmas tree up right now, kind of like we do in New York. That's our Fox Christmas tree. It's going to be a beautiful illumination. So we're going to hope to have something up in one of our weather cams there during the 5 o'clock hour, but just take a look outside. It'll be beautiful. A beautiful sight right in New York. Again, that's right outside of our Fox studios there. Just a gorgeous display of all those holiday lights. As much as we love being here in Wisconsin, we have the change of seasons and the snow. There is something about New York this time of year with all the glitter and the glitz and the glam. So if you can't make it there, I won't be making it there this year. There you go. That's a little insight to what's going on. But we also have another show, not on the sky, but on the gridiron, and you know exactly what that is. That's coming up this Sunday. Drum roll, please. Yeah, that's right. The Packers taking on, those dreaded Bears, NFL's ugliest, longest, and let's just say, best rivalry. We love it. We love all the trash talk before, during, and after. Just keep it here on Fox 6 because we're going to have a party all day. We're going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. We're going to have the NFL kickoff, followed by Fox's NFL on Sunday, and then we're going to warm you up with the Bengals and at the Bills. Bills have been playing good, right? And then at 3:25, the Packers are going to kick off against the Bears up at Lambeau, and hopefully it's going to be real chilly because yes, Chicago is cold, but we know cold like nobody else. We're burly and we're brilliant in all of that chill, that Arctic char blare up there. It's going to be a really good game. We did a Fox 6 Insta poll last night about what are you going to do during the game. Are you going to go to a friend's? Are you going to go to a bar? Most people said they were staying home. So make your favorite pot of chili, fire up the oven, and maybe if you dare, the grill, put on something good, pour yourself your favorite beverage of choice, and keep it right here on Fox 6 because we're going to have the game. Then afterwards, we're going to have a special edition of Fox 6 News after the game. And then we're going to tell you about what's coming up at 9 and 10. We're going to have a full newscast, 9 and 10, and then we're going to have the Fox 6 Sports Blitz right after that. So Ted and I will be here, Tim Van Voren, Brandon Cruz, Lily Zhao. Yeah, we're excited to be here. So get out your green and get ready. Last thing before we leave here, I do want to show you, of course, Pfizer Forum, because, you know, the Bucs, a lot of chatter about Giannis. We're going to have an update on what's going on with him, that injury that we saw him succumb to last night, and, of course, all the chatter about will he stay, will he go, does he want to keep Milwaukee as home? A lot of talk. I know I'm going to be at the game on Friday night. Hope to see him. We'll see what happens, but certainly he's on the minds of many here. Giannis Antetokounmpo, no matter what, always our MVP. He's brought so much to the Bucs, but what's going to happen? We don't know. It's a wait and see. We'll keep you updated. Oh, it's been great to have you along on this Thursday afternoon. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tonight at 4, 5, 6, 9, and 10 on Fox 6. But for now, I'm going to sign off and say see you next week. Pleasure. Glad you were with us. Have a great day.
Go to this country and do their healthcare program for them. That NGO would then take about, some percentage of that money for their overhead and administrative costs. And by the time it got down to it, the host country had very little influence. It was sort of imposed on them. And only a percentage of the overall money ever actually reached the patients and the people on the ground that we were trying to help because of these costs. This makes no sense. So why are we hiring American and international NGOs to go into other countries and run healthcare systems that are parallel and sometimes in conflict with the healthcare systems of the host country? If we're trying to help countries, help the country. Don't help the NGO to go in and find a new line of business. And so that's what the model that we're breaking. We're not doing this anymore.